There we go. All right. All right. Thank you for everybody for showing up today. I want to first start off by saying that this channel is for entertainment purposes only, not to be taken as legal advice. Today marks the start of our second quarter for our first course of a 4-part series, where we'll be exploring the final process of Patrick Devine's great work that set himself free. We will be covering the UCC versus the non-UCC, the importance of the standard forms by the GSA, and additionally, we will cover the crucial topic of the performance in the payment bonds, essential knowledge for anyone looking to navigate the monetary system as an individual banker. After today's course, we will begin open enrollment for the second course, and then we will continue on until course number 4 has been finalized. So then we go through thoroughly Patrick's final process. We will have new information that was not discussed during the first quarter classes, and we'll just be compounding your learning from there. It's important also to note that while I am your guide in this course, I am not the originator of this information. The insights we will be exploring have been brought to light by the great guru Patrick Devine. His tireless research and dedication led him to uncover a remedy for freeing oneself from the monetary system. After 9 years and over 5,560 documents, Patrick Devine discovered the key to liberation in 2016. He then disappeared and said, "Now it's up to you to set yourselves free." This live 4-day course will cover the final process of Patrick Devine's great works, as well as information from others who helped him along the way. Let's begin. All right, guys, we have a lot to cover. I mean, if you were here for the first course, that got taken down, so hopefully that won't happen this time. I have a remedy, so to speak, for this. We have now created Creditor Academy on Rumble now. You can now get the videos there. From what I've been told and advised by many others, like, they will not mess with the content on there. So if you're just like, hey, YouTube took his videos, I mean, YouTube's attacking me left and right. I can't help it. But no matter what, when you message our auto response, which is creditoracademy@gmail.com, and you get the Google Drive link for all of my presentations, I will also upload the videos in there. So go ahead and be a subscriber over at our Rumble account, which is Creditor Academy. And that way you'll always have the videos, and then always check in to register for the next classes and get the latest content that's been presented in this class over at creditoracademy@gmail.com, where you'll receive our auto response. For the many of you also, I'm looking at my numbers right now. We've all Creditor Academy on YouTube, just to kind of give you guys some stats, has been doing really great. Creditor Academy has only been up and live for about a week and a half, almost hitting the 2-week mark. I just want to share some numbers of encouragement since our start of that. We have gained almost 2,000 subscribers to our YouTube channel. We have over 2,800 people that are registered on our email. And we have over 375 of you who have already started your own private processes on discharging and such. And I have over 32 private consultations with you guys individually. A lot of this is really just covering questions that I'm going to cover in today's course 1, which is becoming an individual banker. But yeah, really encouraging. I do love it. Love the love and support. It's I appreciate all the emails that I received for you. We are now also having our back office of Creditor Academy is now about up to 11 people now. So now we have website designers, we have video editors, we have content creators, we have social media marketers. We now have very soon badge maker, ID maker, and an editor for your public identification form, so you don't have to figure out Adobe and whatever to do all that. And then then I have also a book writer who's helping me with the Patrick Devine ebook. Really what it is, the ebook will be this, and this is kind of how I got into being able to teach on Patrick Devine's final process, is I took all of his essays from his final process, put them all in order, and then I applied the examples that went along with each essay. And then I put the video that went along with each essay. So now I had an example, I had an essay write-up, and I had his audio with that. I hope to go ahead and put that all together within the next couple of weeks. So hopefully by early next month, we should have that ready and available. So now you can kind of read it from cover to cover, and you won't need to really rely on me for that. Other news, we will also have other email accounts. I want to go over the emails really quickly. If you want to work for Creditor Academy or volunteer, please send an email inquiry to hr@creditoracademy.com. If you want to work for our organization, you want to contribute in any way, you want to volunteer, you reach out to hr@creditoracademy.com. Okay, that will be my only one. In addition, we have a couple other emails as well. I don't want to blast out those emails quite yet until I have everything ready for that. But if you want to also make consultations, go ahead and send your emails to paulmichael@creditoracademy.com if you want a private consultation. Okay, and then for registering with classes, it's still creditoracademy@gmail.com. Okay, enough said about that. Let's go ahead and get into the start of course one. Course one, becoming an individual banker. Well, first of all, let's answer the question, what is a banker? A banker is a private person who keeps a bank, one who is engaged in the business of banking. What is then an individual banker? I mean, this is all about becoming an individual banker. What is that? It's under some statutes, an individual banker is distinguished from a private banker, meaning there's a difference. It is a person who, having complied with the statutory requirements, has received authority from the state to engage in business of banking, while a private banker is someone engaged in banking without having any specific privileges or authority from the state. We have privileges and authority. That's why we are individual bankers, okay? And then finally, what is a private banker specifically? A private banker is one who carries on the business of banking without being incorporated. A business of banking by receiving money on deposit with or without interest by buying and selling bills of exchange, promissory notes, gold and silver coin, bullion, uncurrent money, bonds or stock or other securities, and by loaning money without being incorporated. That's a private banker. So what you are is you are an individual banker for your private bank, because you're dealing with bills of exchange, securities, being unincorporated. You're dealing with promissory notes and all the following. So there's your introductory structure on that. Now, I also want to kind of cover, what we're going to go deep into today is really the secured party process a little bit with our non-UCC filings. You see, the main thing you need to understand wherever you're listening to any guru that's out there is the high level stuff is all the same. You need to have a superior claim over your debtor. And then when you have a superior claim over your debtor, you give notice to everybody that you have that superior claim. A gentleman always gives notice. So you'll notice the Secretary of State, the courts, your banks, and stuff like that. Hey, I am now the secured party over this debtor, and that you have a lien also over your assets. Now, I want to go ahead and go over the definition of what a banker's lien is. Banker's lien is a lien in which a banker has by virtue of which he can appropriate any money or property in his possession belonging to a customer to the extinguishment of any matured debt of such customer to a bank, provided such property or money has not been charged. Additionally, a banker's lien is a lien that a banker has on all monies and funds of his depositor or customer in his possession for the balance of general account and upon all securities of the customer in his hands unless such securities have been delivered to him under a particular agreement. Everything's about agreement and contracts. Everything. Limiting their application or unless there are other circumstances which would make such a lien inconsistent with the actual or presumed intention of the parties. Okay, let's get into now the non-UCC. Give me a second. I will go ahead and share my screen here. All right. All right. This is my favorite thing now to start with, the understanding the two money governments of America. Patrick Devine put this together. This is his description of the monetary for-profit banking system versus the Article 4 non-corporate bank republic system that we want to be operating under. So let's go ahead and do this high level. One, the non-UCC is a 1787, the Constitution for the United States of America. The universal hard asset, what are hard assets? That's gold, that's bullion, that's silver. Labor money. What is that's what everything is measured by, is by your labor. And a monetary corporation. Labor is tax exempt, and the bankers cannot claim a usury bar interest on this money. It's our superior banking contract. That's what the non-UCC is. It's a superior banking contract over your debtor as the secured party. Well, and then what are we going up against? Well, we're going against the corporate banking system, which was established in 1913 under the UCC Commercial Contract Trust, paper money system. The contract trust, the contract trust is what we are trapped in from birth. We came from this foreign kleptocracy, a unconstitutional UCC contract trust usury government. And this kleptocracy is the rule by political and judicial bar UCC thieves. And that's what we're trapped in. When we are establishing our banker's EIN, our foreign grantor trust, and our estate EIN, is we are creating a new trust system by which we will be operating under. This description with the triangle is going to give the description of what we are currently trapped inside. Right now, the two forms of the UCC commercial construction contract paper money for debts and credits is set up under two construction bonds. One is a UCC contractor's surety performance bond and a payment labor bond. We're going to go into those definitions here in a moment. As combined as a full funded contractor's fidelity bond. Okay. So the surety is who? Anybody know who the surety is? Anybody?
Straw man.
That's a straw man. That's why it's in all caps. Every time you're looking at Patrick Devine's documents and presentations, look for what's in all caps. That's the hidden secrets he's trying to reveal. But the performance and the payment bond. So under that is the fidelity bond. If there is no bill of value, then there can be no charge or debt, no contract. You are the owner of your UCC contract trust, the three-sided house of UCC paper money. So let's go through each one of these sides and kind of break it down. The paper house foundation is your owner's signature as the shadow foundation of your inherent and physical labor credit, loaned at the initial UCC contract trust credits to the UCC contractor. Every time a corporation, a business, a bank, or any of the above gets you in to contract them, they want your signature. That's the access to the credits. That's how they go ahead and are able to siphon their credits inside of their UCC contract trust kleptocracy that they've created. So they first collect your signature. Now they have access to your money. Then what they do is they take the UCC debt money, Federal Reserve notes created by the contractor. They are the contractors as the shadow debt paper promises to pay. That's what Federal Reserve notes are. They're promissory notes. They're promised to pay you because you don't have gold and silver in your hand. So that's to show to you, you have to have something in its place. And that's why they created the Federal Reserve note dollars. They're not gold backed and they're not silver backed either. And the reason why is because they took all the gold and silver. You know, it was often when I speak with people about, you know, this movement and all that, and what's kind of difficult for people to wrap their heads around is that in normal life, when somebody steals your girlfriend or your wife from you, robs your bank accounts, beats you up, and tells you, hey, you have no, I'm going to go ahead and take all your property. I'm going to turn everybody against you. You end up being homeless. That's just the reality of the life. And so you feel powerless to do anything. And I think that that's kind of the divide when you go into this movement. Even though they stole everything from you, all your gold, all your silver, they're trying to impose all these draconian kleptocracy rights against you and take more of your money. They still give you all of the power of the full faith and credit. You still have access to those funds because they had to give it to you because you're still the owners of the land, of the Republic of the United States. So the UCC debt money, Federal Reserve notes created by the contractor as the shadow debt paper promises to pay the credits when demanded. That's your power. You just demand it and it's yours. This is the national debt, the shadow debt money that is in circulation today. When all you hear all those news reports of, oh, we're borrowing money from China, and we're borrowing money from Russia, or we owe so many people, that is not the basis of the national debt. They borrowed the credits from our signatures that we gave out. And that is what's building the national debt. And now and the reason why the national debt is building so high is every time that they collect your signature, well, they're getting the credits from you, but they're also bonding the credits and putting insurance on top of it. And that bonds and the credits or the insurance that they're putting on top of your credits, which is making the fidelity bond, is what's causing the inflation to be so high. So now for every $100, they're writing a $200 bond, plus they're putting insurance on it. And that's why the national debt gets out of control. Now, side number 3, the UCC credit money in the form of bills of credit. Bills of credit. We're going to go over that in just a moment. As the shadow surety bill to release the credits when you, as the owner, acknowledge, endorse, and return them to the contractor. They now owe the IRS a 1099-C showing the debt has been canceled. This is how you claim your funds back. You have to, one, on side number 2 is demand it. And side number 3 is you have to acknowledge and endorse and return them to the contractor, meaning your bills of credit. Now, on the inner structure of this pyramid system is full of UCC credits from the 2 production bonds set up by the contractor, and the contractor's performance bond and the labor's payment bond combined as a fidelity bond. So all those bonds, when they get your signature, they get the credits, they put a performance and a payment bond on those credits in the form of a fidelity bond as they are combined, and then that's what they're insuring. And that's how you get the national debt to be out of control. In the foreign UCC state of, I'm in the state of Washington, so the UCC state of Washington title of nobility bar kleptocracy members, political agents, attorneys, and judges are filing fraudulent and hidden claims against the contractor's performance bond by way of the hidden U.S. commercial bankruptcy actions, where they claim bar supplied services to UCC Construction Contract Trust. This is known as embezzlement. They issued judgments with no assigned value that can be set off as a charging bill of credit, but they get an off-budget debt money payment that is never reported to the IRS. No 1099 forms and no bills of credit are issued to the owner to allow or show him how to set off this debt. Wouldn't that be great if you guys got a letter and every single bill that you got, it gave a really clear instructional, this is how you set off your debt. This is how you can pay for it without having to go into your bank account and working your 9-to-5 job. So that's where the kleptocracy comes, because they don't tell you how you can properly set this off. The kleptocracy bar claims tax exemption immunity, but they are really operating for profit. This is where the fraud comes in. They're masquerading as a non-for-profit, but really they're a for-profit business. Therefore, you can file an IRS form 13909 and or a 3949A reporting them, and you can get 10 to 50% of the IRS settlement by using an IRS F211, or for local law enforcement officers that stand up and report using an IRS 4211A. Okay. Lot to take in there. We'll go into we'll go into a summary. You, as the owner of these 3-sided UCC contract trusts, have the right to terminate any UCC construction contract at any time with the Treasury IRS UCC Contract Trust Department. And you can also order the liquidation of all of the contractor's bonds and assets as your credits in order to settle all of your debts. As the owner, all of the remaining credits belong to you as an American constitutional money non-UCC labor credits, which are to be deposited into your account in the Constitutional Treasury Department Depository. This is known as the de jure Treasury, the Constitutional Treasury. De jure is Constitutional Treasury. Right now, they're in the corporate Treasury, okay? They're sending you IRS documents, they're taxing you, they're not giving you access to your funds because it's inside of this commercial UCC contract trust pyramid system, okay? So as soon as you get into the private with your superior banking contract as a nonprofit individual banker, then you can start claiming your assets back. But if you're operating in this system under this commercial UCC contract trust, and you're going up to them and using your commercial instruments that were issued to you, which is known as the Social Security number, they're not going to give you access. And that's why we need to be the secured party over our debtor, and to change that up. Okay. Understanding the two money governments of America, the American Bar Association is American communistic kleptocracy, alternatively a kleptotarchy, a ruler by thieves. Yeah, that's a good enough description. Is a term applied to a government seen as having a particularly severe or systemic problem with officials or ruling class, taking advantage of corruption to extend their personal wealth and political power. Typically, this system involves the embezzlement of state funds at the expense of the wider population, sometimes without even pretense of honest service. The UCC bar judges and attorneys are all under oath as UCC commercial kleptocracy members. Your non-UCC status with the Treasury UCC Contract Trust, Secret Service Division, and Tax Complaint Form 3949A to the CID and the 13909 as Tax Exemption Complaint Form are the only ways you can protect yourself from them. You need to be a whistleblower, is basically what that means, is you need to say, this is my rightful claim of my credits, of my accounts, as I am the owner of the three-sided UCC contract trust, and you have a right to terminate or liquidate these contractors' bonds at any time, which is by the utilization of the SF30, 1414, 1416, and the 1418. Definitions. I want to go over this. Up here, we went over surety. He went in and put in all caps, that is your debtor. But what is a surety? A surety is a person who engages under contract of suretyship to answer for the debt, default, or miscarriage of another. For some purposes, inclusive of a guarantor, under the UCC Chapter 1-201, as applied to persons, the word has an established and well-known meaning in the minds of most people and indicates an obligation to stand for the sum absolutely, unless discharged by the supine negligence of the obligor after notice. Obligor is also the debtor. See, you're the obligee. If we remember the 4 endorsements document, which I'm going to show again here in a little bit, but that 4 endorsement document, that gives you a really great direction on how to determine, when you're reading documents and contracts and stuff like that, who they're referring to as the straw man versus you, the real person. It is the broad contrast with the word guarantee, which imports a conditional liability that is the liability if due steps are taken against the principal debtor. And then finally, suretyship, a contractual relation resulting from a primary, original, absolute, and unconditional engagement, whereby one person, the surety, engages to be answerable for the debt. So who has to pay the debt?
Debtor.
The debtor. It has to be your straw man. I'm going to tell you this 100 times. You got $1.25 in your bank account. You can't afford anything, but your debtor has all of the funds. That's why we want to be the secured party over the debtor, because now we can order the release of those funds. Right now, it's the UCC contract trust underneath the commercial UCC contract trust, which is these private bankers, the state of corporations like the Department of State and the Department of Licensing and all that. They're all for-profit corporations, and what they're doing is they're taking control of your surety as the secured party creditor. They are having a priority lien over all of your credits. That's why it's so important that we do a non-UCC. If you're first in line, you're first in time. So that means that when you're the first one to have lien rights over that debtor, everybody is now the junior secured party. And when you're a junior versus a senior, the senior always wins. And that's why it's important that you have your superior banking contract over your surety. Now, going on, the surety engages to be answerable for the debt, default, or miscarriage of another. While the contract of a surety is, in a sense, accessory or collateral to a valid principal obligation contracted by another person, either contemporaneously or previously, his obligation to the creditor or promisee of the principal is direct, primary, and absolute. So who does the obligation go to? Goes to the obligation of the secured party creditor. And what do you want to be? You want to be the secured party creditor or promisee of the principal debtor. It is the essence of the contract, that there be a subsitting valid obligation of a principal debt. Without a principal, there can be no surety. So who's going to be the principal over your surety? It's going to be you, the living. You're the principal. When we look at these SF forms, it's going to ask for three different identifiers. It's going to ask who's the principal, who's the surety, and who's the corporate entity. You're the principal. You're the living. That's you. The surety is your debtor, your all caps name, your straw man. And then the corporation is your individual banker. You as the principal are going to give the authority of the secured party to be your private bank over your debtor. But you control the private bank because you're the principal of that bank. Okay? The vital difference between the contract of a surety and that of a guarantor is that a surety is charged as an original promisor, while the engagement of the guarantor is a collateral undertaking. A surety is a party to the principal obligation, undertaking together with the principal debtor that it shall be performed, while the guarantor is not a party to the principal obligation. Okay, let's break this down a little bit more clearly. Was that pretty understandable, this little sheet? I love this. I keep this in my car. I love looking at it. It just gives me all the confidence in the world, because as Patrick just put everything you need to know pretty much in one document, even though he did not put the SF forms in it, he has plenty of others for that. But this is just a great summation of the system that we are currently in. Now let's go ahead and look at a non-UCC. Okay, I'm going to kind of go back and forth between this document and then going into the non-UCC laws itself. But first, I just want to kind of go through this. When you're doing a UCC financing statement, you're doing it in the private. You're doing this in the private, but like when a lot of you have heard or maybe have seen or maybe even wondered about, I hope class 4 kind of answered this question for you already, but you'll notice that there is a secured party process that you do with the Treasury Department, the UCC Contract Trust Department of the Treasury. Okay, you see other gurus talk about it and whatnot. That's your UCC 1 filing statement that you do in your state. Okay, this is for you to get your initial claim over your debtor, and then when you send over power of attorneys and all your numbers for your individual banker, your estate, your foreign grantor trust, or even additionally all your stuff for that goes along with it, like the oh my gosh, there's an affidavits that go in there. The secured party process is quite a bit. We're going to go over that in a private series. But what you're doing with your non-UCC filing is you're doing the secured party in the private. And that's why you can act on it, because you are the one that's registering the document and filing it at your private office. And there's non-UCC laws that can back you to do this. Now let's go over the top. You'll put in the name, the living name of who the individual is. So it'll be your first, middle, and then last name, as well as your contact phone number, your email, and you as the living person of the Republic. I cannot express this enough. You need to make sure that you're representing yourself in the Republic, which is not in the commercial UCC contract trust jurisdiction. So that's why Thomas, the right-hand man, Tom of Patrick Devine, will put this out as his first, middle, last. He lives in Beaver Falls, which is the city. He lives in the state Republic of Pennsylvania. And then he puts the full 9 digits of his private postal code and US at the end. This is the United States Republic by which he lives. And that's why it's written out that way. Now, here, the organization, now you go to the debtor's name, provide only one debtor name, either 1A or 1B. Use exact full name. Do not omit, modify, or abbreviate any part of the debtor's name. If any part of the individual debtor's name will not fit in line 1B, leave all of the item 1 blank. Check here and provide the individual debtor's information, item 10 of the financing statement addendum, form UCC 1 AD. The UCC 1 addendum, also used as the UCC 3, is where you get further claim over your collateral assets, okay? I'm going to explain that a little bit because I really love the UCC3. I did not go over it at all in my first video. And it's a very important topic to discuss, because now as your UCC3 is going to be naming the exact collateral that you have claim over, where your UCC1 is just establishing the secured party over your debtor. Okay. Again, I'll go through an example with that. So he writes his debtor name is first, middle, last, all caps, a UCC Social Security surety. So where did he get his all caps straw man name from? From his Social Security card as the surety for a private for-profit organization, the commercial UCC contract trust. Then you have the organization name. So the organization name is exactly as the same on the top. It's the debtor's name once again. He put the address. You don't put the address for the second part. and provide only one debtor name, 2A, 2B, use exact full name, do not omit, modify, or abbreviate any part of the debtor's name. If any part of the individual debtor's name will not fit in 2B, then you can make 2B blank. Okay, but it's basically the same thing. Now, let's get into the secured party. The secured party is the private bank. The private bank is Thomas W. Beaumont Private Bank E&T. Estate and Trust is what that stands for. And the operator of this private bank, because this is the title of it, the operator is Thomas W. Beaumont, the individual banker, per his individual banker's EIN number. Okay, so this is the name of the bank, and this is the principal owner of the bank, is the Thomas Beaumont individual banker. Then he puts his address that he registered his bank under, which is the same address as the surety. Now, you can have different addresses. I've gotten this brought up a couple times. Well, what is it? It's wherever your current address is. You want to keep that consistent because that's where the main communication and where you reside in. Okay. Now let's go over the collateral part. Like I said, for the UCC3 on the UCC1 addendum, there's a collateral list. Okay. So for this one, when we're doing the secured party, now we're going to list the collateral underneath it. So the bailor is a vessel exceeding 25 years of age. The Shipping Act under Title 46 USC Section 57308 mandates bailor may no longer be used for commercial operations. This is a very important first sentence right here. At the age of 25, your debtor no longer needs to be used for commercial UCC contract trust for profit services. You can now reclaim your debtor all over again and now use it for your own commercial processes, private commercial processes. The Bailey is a not-for-profit private entity fully owned by Mr. Thomas W. Beaumont. Beaumont, in his capacity as an Article 4 public American citizen, Bailey claims bailor non-UCC bailment labor wages up to $47 billion, in addition to all associated uncontested eminent domain claims. Eminent domain is so important. So is Article 4. Article 4, Section 1, just drill this into your mind. Article 4, Section 1 says you have full faith and credit. Article 4 is so important. That's why it's in the Constitution. You have full faith and credit. This U.S. registered mail Bailey / bailor non-UCC bonded security claim and lien stands over all caps Thomas W. Wilson Beaumont, a United States state of Texas. That's where he, I guess, is from, bank or currently living, banked or bonded labor credits. By law, the Bailey as a private non-for-profit entity. So again, the Bailey is the secured party. The bailor is the debtor. The Bailey as a private non-for-profit entity may not own bonds. All collateral trust securities per the Miller Act must have a payment and a performance bond to comply with the law. These bonds are to be brokered with proceeds transferred to Bailey by way of his individual banker's EIN. Now, the importance of that last part, these bonds are to be brokered, or liquidated and transferred to the EIN number. This is your first clue that the individual banker's EIN is actually an account. It's an account number. It's your private bank account number. And we're going to get more into the estate and the foreign grantor trust and which one's the savings account and which one's the checking account. But those other instruments of the foreign grantor trust and the estate are your routing numbers. So you have your account number right here, and then you will then have your routing number. Now, continuing on the bottom of the page, you're going to check only if applicable and check only one box. Well, if you go down, you say this is a non-UCC filing. That's what this is. And the alternative destinations are the Bailey and Baylor. That's why it was called out in here. Then you have your optional filer reference data. We're going to get more into this in a little bit, but this is where your power comes from. You list absolutely every single jurisdiction you wish to be under. And that's why Patrick put the 14th Amendment. He put 22 USC Section 288, the 15 USC. He put the Expatriation Act, the Miller Act. He put in HJR 192. I know you can't see kind of the rest of the page here, but he put a lot of them down there to say this is by which my choice of law comes from. And at the very top, what he did was he registered, mailed this to yourself. So after you fill out your non-UCC financing statement, you will then take and do by registered mail the following. Let me stop presenting for just a moment. This is my trusty briefcase. So you will need the following. You will need, no, not that one. Okay. Number one, you're going to want these. These are your private registered mail stickers. I have a bunch of them. You'll have your private mail sticker, and it's important for you to know what this number is. This number is what's going to go on top of your UCC financing statement that we just saw. So right up here, non-UCC official document filing per registered mail number. The registered mail number is what is on these stickers. Now, the second thing is the green card. Oh, can you all see me, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
The last one.
No, your document is still up. We can't see you.
Oh, you can't see me. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Okay.
Switch your screen. You can see him. Your screen is not switched.
Gotcha. So the second thing is that you are going to register mail it back to yourself. So you need the green card. The green card is this. You will put the sender's information. You're the sender. And then you put the who the article is addressed to, which is also yourself. And then on the other side, it says complete this section upon delivery. You do not do anything until the mailman from USPS comes to your door and says, hey, I need your signature. This has happened where the mailman is like, oh, I'm already here. Just sign it and I'll hand it back to you. You cannot have that document be handed back to you right in that moment. It has to go back to the post office. So they only say, no, here it's back. Then it'll go to the post office. Then they'll stamp it. And then when it's stamped, then they will return it back to you in your mailbox. So there's that. And then the final one is your registered mail postcard. So it looks like this. I never go to the post office without having everything already done. Because if you've never done something by registered mail, it is going to be it's going to be a big learning experience because it's a process. You go up there. Every time I do registered mail, I'm sitting there for 10 to 15 minutes because I got to bring out the book. They got to stamp everything. They got to write in the registered mail number. They got to put over, what is it, like this film and stamp it 20 times. I mean, it's a very intensive process, no doubt. But then after you send that out and you receive your package back, after it's received back, you will not open it. That is now your proof that you have private registered mailed your non-UCC back to yourself. So you'll have the envelope, it'll have the stamps all over it. You'll just put that in a filing cabinet. You'll put the green card along with it with your files, and it's just going to sit there. Now, it's important to note when you're shipping your non-UCC, it is not the original. It is not the original. It's a copy. You always keep the original for your other private records, okay? Now, what about, let me go for the last part about this, and then we'll move on and get into the non-UCC laws. But with this non-UCC filing, you'll see that Thomas Beaumont, as well as Patrick Devine, had put a forever stamp over the on the cross of this. This is how they filed. You know, if you know anything about the mailing system, this is how you privately mail and laying claim to your securities that you're filing. So what you do is you'll go ahead and put a forever stamp. It doesn't have to be this moon one, but it's just a regular forever stamp. And what he did was he signed his EIN number across it. And then he wrote by, I know that's kind of hard to read, but he wrote BY, and then he wrote Thomas Beaumont across it. So he put on the forever stamp, EIN number by Thomas Beaumont, and then he hand wrote the date of which it was recorded, and then he shipped it that same day. So now you got the date, you have the authorized representative for the personal filing, you have all the information here about what it is needed about the claim of the secured party over the debtor, and everything else. All right, that's pretty simple, not too bad. Okay, let's go now onto the non-UCC. Let me pull that up. Huh, where's my... No. Huh, I thought I had it. No, it's not there. Hold on one second. That's not it. Okay, I'm gonna just search for it then. Has anybody had the advantage to kind of look over the Patrick Devine files? Have you guys been, for those that purchased them or have access to them, able to just kind of go through all of these wonderful files that he has available? I mean, there's so much in here. Oh, you know what? Do I have it down here? State. Ah, okay. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Well, I had it in the right place, but I wasn't in the right place. Okay. Sorry, everybody. Okay, non-UCC. There we go. There we go. All right, the non-UCC laws. Can you all see my screen right now?
Yep.
Yep. Cool.
Yep.
All right. So this is what gives you your power. Patrick Devine took these excerpts of the UCC 9 as it relates to the non-UCC laws, copied and pasted it, and every time you see something bold or underlined or anything like that, that is Patrick Devine outlining the important sections of the non-UCC laws in the UCC 9. And he titled it Non-UCC Laws Found in the UCC 9, which is addressing the constitutional, amended, and statutory republic non-UCC choice of laws. The choice of laws are the republic laws that he's choosing. That's the Article 4. That's the HJR 192. That's the Miller Act and the Baby Act and the Title 46 and all of that. And the republic jurisdictions for which they're in for this nation, and being the superior laws of the United States of America. So what's the superior law? The Constitution. There's nothing more superior than that. That's why when you do your choice of laws, you choose the republic jurisdiction of which the Constitution puts you under and protects you. Now, let's go through each one of these sections. Deposit account. Under new subsection, the only method of perfecting a security interest in a deposit account as original collateral is by control. What type of control? A secured party control. Filing is ineffective except as provided in section 9-315 with respect to proceeds. As explained in section 9104, control can arise as a result of an agreement among the secured party, the debtor, and the bank. Bank is all caps, debtor is all caps, secured party is you, the living. Whereby the bank agrees to comply with the instructions of the secured party. So who's the bank gonna listen to? The secure party. That's why we give the banks notice on who the secured party now is. With respect to the disposition of the funds on deposit, even though the debtor retains rights to direct disposition of the funds, thus subsection B1 takes an intermediate position between certain non-UCC law, which conditions the effectiveness of a security interest on the secured party's enjoyment. Whose enjoyment? The secured party's enjoyment. Enjoyment over what? The security interest. Who has the security interest? The debtor. So now the secured party's enjoyment of all of the security interest assets is now in his full enjoyment and dominion and control over the deposit account that the debtor is unable to dispose of the funds. And the approach of this article takes to security accounts under which a secured party who is unable to reach the collateral without resort to judicial process may perfect by filing. By conditioning perfection on control rather than requiring the secured party to enjoy absolute dominion to the exclusion of the debtor, subsection permits perfection in a wide variety of transactions, including those in which the secured party actually relies on the deposit account in extending credit and maintains some meaningful dominion over it, but does not wish to deprive the debtor of access to the funds altogether. And that's so true. The debtor has access to all of the funds. You're giving the instructions to release the funds via the from the performance in the payment bond. Or the funds are backed by the bonds, which is the performance in the payment bond. And that's what you're ordering the release of. All right, liability of bank. This article does not determine whether a bank, all caps, that pays out funds from an encumbered deposit is liable to a holder of a security interest. Although the fact that a secured party has control over the deposit account and the manner by which control was achieved may be relevant to the imposition of liability. Whatever rule applies generally when a bank pays out funds in which a third party has an interest would determine liability to the secured party. Often this rule is found in the non-UCC adverse claim statute. You're making a claim. You own the deposit account. The deposit account has the funds. And you, as the secured party over the debtor, now have control of that, and you can order the bank to pay out funds from the encumbered deposit. You know, the one that you signed your signature to when you wanted to buy a house or a car or to get a loan? That is that deposit account. Okay. This article does not provide a specific answer to the question of which state's law applies to the restriction on assignment in the example. However, assuming that under non-UCC choice of law principles, the effectiveness of the restriction would be governed by the law of state Y, which governs the franchise agreement. The fact that state X's Article 9 governs the secured transaction between secured party and debtor would not override the otherwise applicable law governing the agreement. Of course, to the extent that jurisdiction eventually adopt identical versions of this article and courts interpret it consistently, the inability to identify the applicable law in circumstances such as those in the example may be inconsequential. What does this mean? How do you break it down? There are UCC laws, okay, that states have. When we're talking about state X's Article 9, okay? Now, your choice of law is what's going to fall under the UCC 9. If you choose the Republic law, or the Republic jurisdiction, the constitutional laws to operate under, then state X abides by it. Under the secured transactions between the secured party and the debtor would not override the otherwise applicable laws governing the agreement. What's governing the agreement? Your choice of laws. Choice of laws. Excuse me, right there. Okay? So then they start to ask you in court, you know, oh, you're the secured party over what? You know, you say, hey, these are the laws that I'm operating under. Okay, now let's go over the remedies. Cumulative remedies, super important section, because what are we here to do? We're here to get remedy. Former section 9-501 provided that the secured parties' remedies were cumulative, but it did not explicitly provide whether the remedies could be exercised simultaneously. Subsection C permits the simultaneous exercise of remedies if the secured party acts in good faith. Okay, so what does that mean? That means simultaneous. What does that mean? That means doing multiple things at once. You're trying to discharge your house. You're trying to get remedy for your car. You're trying to get over a court case, or go through a divorce, or dealing with a foreclosure. These are simultaneous exercises of remedies that you can act as the secured party as long as you're operating in good faith. No malicious intent. The liability scheme, all caps, so for the for-profit corporation, subpart 2 affords redress. Redress. What happens when you redress something? You are saying, hey, I was under the enforcement to sign a contract without me fully knowing or being disclosed to on what I was signing up for. So you could do redress of an agreement. I've done that a number of times with some past contract, especially for getting contracts with UBI numbers with the state, like the state of Washington. I have a UBI, and I was like, oh man, I contracted with them to be in their jurisdiction. So I did a redress of what I signed because I didn't know what I was getting myself into at the time. And then basically that all went away. To an aggrieved debtor or obligor. Who is the debtor? He's the obligor. Who are you as the living? You are the obligee. Okay, affords redress to an aggrieved debtor or obligee or obligor. Excuse me. So what did the debtor do? Well, the debtor is the one that signed for these agreements. That's what you want to redress, is all those agreements that you signed into. Moreover, permitting the simultaneous exercise of remedies under subsection C does not override any non-UCC law. Does not override it, guys. Does not override it, including the law of tort and statutes regulating collection of debts, under which the simultaneous exercise of remedies in a particular case constitutes abusive behavior or harassment giving rise to liabilities. Okay, let's go into multiple secured parties. I love this part because now we're getting into, you as a secured party and the other creditors, okay? More than one secured party may be entitled to take possession of collateral. What's the collateral? Your house, your car, your driver's license, whatever it might be. Under this section, conflicting rights to possession among secured parties are resolved by the priority rules of this article. Who is the priority? Thus, a senior secured party is entitled to possession as against a junior claimant. Non-UCC law governs whether a junior secured party in possession of collateral is liable to the senior. What governs it? The non-who? The non-what? The non-he? It's the non-UCC. Whether liable for the senior conversion. Normally, a junior who refuses to relinquish possession of collateral upon the demand of a secured party having a superior possessory right to the collateral would be liable in conversion. All right, now let's go over title clearing systems under other laws. Applicable non-UCC law. Example, certificate of title, statutes, federal registry rules, or the like. Now remember, certificate of title, he underlined that for a reason, as well as statute, because the statute that your title is under is with the state. That's why it's in all caps, okay? May provide a means by which the secured party may obtain or transfer record or legal title for purpose of disposition of the property under this article. The mechanism provided by this section is in addition to any title clearing provision under law other than this article. So any title clearing provision under law. Let me get the definition so we can go over that. Because definitions. Okay, title clearing. A title without any type of lien or levy from creditors or other parties that would pose a question as to legal ownership. That's what title clearing is. Let's repeat that again. It's a clear title or a title without any type of lien or levy from creditors or other parties that would pose a question as to legal ownership. So there's no question. You are the owner. That's why when we went over inside of the pyramid, Patrick, in big bold letters, you are the owner of all of these contracts. So title clearing, you are the principal owner. Okay, now the scope. The basic damage remedy under section 9-625B is subject to the special rules in this section for transactions other than consumer transactions. This section addresses situations in which the amount of a deficiency or surplus is an issue, i.e. situations in which a secured party has collected, enforced, disposed of, or accepted the collateral, acceptance for value. It contains special rules applicable to the determination of the amount of the deficiency or surplus. Because this section affects a person's liability for a deficiency, it is subject to subsection 9-628, which should be read in conjunction with 9-605. The rules in this section apply only to non-compliance in connection with the collection, enforcement, disposition, or acceptance under Part 6. For other types of non-compliance with Part 6, the general liability rule of Section 9-625B, recovery of actual damages, applies. Consider, for example, a repossession that does not comply with Section 9-609. For want of a default, the debtor's remedy is under Section 9-625B. In a proper case, the secured party also may be liable for conversion under the non-UCC law. Read that again. The debtor's remedy, in a proper case, the secured party also may be liable for conversion of the non-UCC law. If the secured party thereafter disposed of the collateral, however, it would violate Section 9-610 at that time, and this section would apply. Other problems arise from transactions and relationships that were entered into under former Article 9 or under non-UCC law, and which remain outstanding on the effective date of this article. The difficulties arise primarily because this article expands the scope of former Article 9 to cover additional types of collateral and transactions because it provides new methods of perfection for some types of collateral, different priority rules, and different choice of law rules governing perfection and priority. You're perfecting your agreement with a superior contract, banking contract. And you are listing you as the priority. This section and other sections in this part address primarily this second set of problems. Okay, so now Patrick, after reading all that, I mean, he did a great job in bolding it. Now he wrote out the you taking control procedure, control of all caps, control of the commercial UCC contract trust pyramid that you're trapped under. So using the Republic choice of laws. Number one, we just went through it. Registered mail a private non-UCC of your foreign contract trust, okay? Number two, registered mail your transfer of deed. We went over that in class number 4. This is another this is additional registration where you're going to send your, what the transfer by deed is basically you're registering mailing yourself that you are the title holder of all of your security certificates, okay? So your certificate of live birth, your DD-214 if you're in the military, your driver's license, and so on. I'll pull up the transfer by deed just so then we can look at it, because you'll also need to register mail that to yourself. But of your foreign contract trust, the driver's license is a foreign contract trust, okay? So is your SSN. That's why you're laying claim to that. With their supporting general accounting forms, okay? That's the SF30, which is a modification of contract to be used by the owner to control the contract, okay? That's your contract modification. Hey, I want to discharge, or I want to modify the contract with my house, you know, and I'm going to say, hey, go ahead and take money out of the bonds to go ahead and fulfill the debt. We'll get into more of the specifics of how to write something. But then the SF 1414 is the consent of the surety. The surety is your debtor. This is the three that we're going to cover. It's the principal, it's the debtor, and it's the corporation. Principal is the living, surety is the debtor or the straw man, and then three, the corporation, is your individual banker. Okay, so the owner's control over the surety. Okay, SF 1416 is for the payment bond for other than construction contracts. They're other than construction. They created the construction contracts, okay? They did this with different GSA forms, the 25, the 25A, the 27, and the 28, you know, and these are the non-construction banking contracts that you're using to liquidate that. And this is in the Republic Credit Asset Reservoir Depository as the collateral foundation for the performance bonds. Then you got the 1418, which is the performance bond for other than construction contracts and was to be used to pay all of the bills and taxes, okay? Whether you're doing a utility bill, you have a monthly payment for something, whatever it is, you're taking it out of the performance bond. The performance bond is collecting interest and is being traded. Actually, and this is what another part of the fraud we'll get into. I don't want to get into it too much now. I'll probably go more into it in class 2, or I'll cover it a little bit today. Okay. Per non-UCC choice of law in the United States Republic jurisdiction. Now, when we put inside that section, like when you saw all of those choice of laws that Thomas put in the bottom feed, this is what he put in. And he put in HJR 192, the 13th, 14th Amendment, the Expatriation Act, the Constitution. That's your homework assignment for everybody. Your homework assignment is to know what these laws are and why you're choosing to operate under them. I always say to everybody, do not ever submit something that you cannot defend. Okay, because if somebody comes knocking on your door, or you get a reply from the bank, from the hospital, from the utility company, from the state corporate divisions like the Department of Licensing, and they start questioning you on this, you should be able to rattle off each one of your Article 4 in the sections that are along with it, and also the amendments and the statutes at large as well. This is what's protecting you. So that's your homework assignment. I haven't assigned homework assignments. I'm going to start doing that now. Okay, good. Hope that wasn't too much information. Okay, we did the non-UCCs. Now I want to go into, I want to go into the description of the bonds now. Where did I put that? Oh, there's that. No, where did we put this? Sorry, y'all, I'm bouncing around. I kind of wrote out what I wanted to talk about in this, but
We don't mind. It gives us a chance to process.
yeah, no problem. Yeah, take your time. Go ahead, chill. I'm gonna look up the next thing. Just kind of digest. Go get a drink of water. Use the bathroom if you need to, really quickly.
Is there a way to throw a quick question your way in regards to this? It's regarding, but I'm not quite sure if it's something you may or may not touch. I might need a personal consult. Can I throw you a quick one?
Yeah. Let me find. It's marked. Let me find the document first, and then I'll be more available. Mark. Here we go. Okay, what's your question, really quickly? I'll answer it really fast.
Okay, so I have gone down this road following Mr. Devine, and a few things have changed along the way from where I started the videos, I guess, till maybe in the middle. As far as, you know, him figuring things out and what he may have thought it was at the beginning. All right, so I set up the UCC1 and it's in the process of the filing attached to, you know, the trust, claiming everything, putting the lien on yourself and what have you. Set up the bank account attached to TDA, have the bond with that bank account. Now, that's the part that I'm.
All right. What is the question? What is your, like, hey, this is what I need you to answer for me, Paul Michael. What is it?
Are you going to touch on the maneuver of the bond per se, as like the private and the public, or what can be done with the performance bond?
That's literally this document that I'm showing you right now.
All right, cool, sweet.
All right, everybody. This is marketable versus non-marketable securities. This is getting into what are these bonds? How do they operate? How do they work? Brought to you and written by Patrick Devine, and me, Paul Michael. I put in a little bit more helpful summation. I added something to this to kind of make it more understandable. Well, marketable versus non-marketable securities. Now, remember, your surety, it's your SSN. It's a security. It has credit. It has assets. It's held under the fidelity bond, which is housing the performance and the payment bond. This is how these bonds operate, okay? Well, let's start off with what is a security. A security is a certificate that stands in for an object of value. Your SSN is an object of value. The term is used in a very general sense to refer to those certificates that are normally traded, representing money owned, a small piece of a company or a number of commodities. In some fairly rare cases, securities cannot be traded. Untraded securities retain their book value throughout their existence. Okay, now let's go through marketable or marketability. To market a security is to introduce it to the world of market forces. A security, when putting on a trading market, almost immediately has two separate values. The first is a market value, the performance bond. That fluctuates with demand, okay? It fluctuates, everyone. What does that mean? It goes up and it goes down, okay? The second is its intrinsic or book value. In most cases, the book value, the payment bond, is the amount paid for the object. A non-marketable security is not exposed to the forces of supply and demand, and therefore its value does not change. Okay, sink that into your mind. And that's why the performance bond is used for your bills. It goes up and down. They're using it as a marketable security where it gains and loses value, meaning investors are investing inside that performance bond. That is a never-ending thing for you to use to pay for your bills and your assets. The payment bond, it's on deposit. It's got one value. You liquidate all the credit inside of that bond, it's gone. It's done. You've now fully liquidated that bond. It no longer exists. Okay? So that's the first thing. So let's go into the marketable security, the performance bond. Most securities can be marketed. This means that their value will become more volatile. The problem of market values is that it can obscure the actual worth of the object. Worth here is the amount of labor that went into creating it. A stock certificate representing a chunk of the company might have taken 100 people 6 months to create in their day-to-day work. It might be worth 20,000. If this company pieces is in a volatile industry, such as consumer electronics, the demand for that stock might push its price to 40,000. Profit here is made by cashing in on demand, making that 20,000 in stock sale has no necessary relation to its book value. If the firm receives recent favorable media coverage and is considered a safe investment, the demand for that stock might increase, driving up its price. Cashing in on demand is what causes the price to fluctuate. And that's why they say, if it gets good media coverage, you know, hey, Starbucks is doing well, Coca-Cola always doing great, or whatever, people are cashing in on demand to try to increase their profits. It's a marketable security off of a stock certificate, okay? Unmarketable security, payment bond. Unmarketable securities are most often specific types of treasury bonds, U.S. savings bonds, rural electronic certificates, state and local government series securities, and government account series bonds are not marketed. These are all debt securities. Guys, who are we trying to get control of? The debtor, okay? That's who's holding all the security credit interest. Their purpose is to ensure a completely stable home for the money within it. A government security that is unmarketable is often issued at a discount and redeemable at maturity for the face amount. The difference is made up in interest payments for the life of the bond. No one loses any money, but no one makes money either. It can produce a small guaranteed cash flow. The only other type of non-marketable security is shares of a company held by the owner. Who's the owner of these securities?
We are.
There you go. All right, thank you. If the company is not traded publicly, the stock might be bought and sold over the counter. There is no objective way to measure its market value in this case. If you are the owner of a company, you know, that's what your debtor is, the all caps name. It's a commercial UCC contract, okay? It's a company. It's part of a trust, a commercial trust. Chances are you have no interest in selling stock unless you want to transfer control to someone else. Who are you transferring the control to? The secured party, your individual banker's private bank. Okay? I added this to Patrick Devine's document, which is explanation in monkey example or terminology. Okay? In monkey terms, a marketable securities are like bananas that can be traded in a market where their value can go up or down depending on demand. Just like how the price of bananas can change in a market, these securities are like performance bonds where the value can fluctuate. On the other hand, non-marketable securities are like bananas that you keep at home and never sell. Their value stays the same, just like how the value of a payment bond stays the same and doesn't change based on the market demand. So a performance bond is like a banana that you can sell in a market and its value can change. And a payment bond is like a banana that you keep at home and its value stays the same. I love it. Okay, that makes everything simple and straightforward. And we really got to compound this because you're going to be using these bonds all the time, and you do need to know the difference. But first, let's look at their purpose. The purpose is a security may be issued by a U.S. government specifically to be unmarketable payment bonds. If a couple who is a few years away from retirement has millions of dollars in the bank, the couple might buy a large amount of treasury bonds. The investment pays out an income to the couple for its lifespan, okay? Usually 10 years or more. the money cannot be lost, and the couple might have no immediate need to have access to that cash. It provides an income paid in monthly installments that can never be interrupted. Your securities, after you liquidate them and do a transfer by deed, will still be making money, okay? Your certificate of live birth will still be making money. Your SSN is all, as long as there's a performance bond out there, then as a marketable security, then it's going to keep on making money, okay? A thought on securities, marketable and unmarketable. Follow the money. You, I can put our assets into a bank. A bank cannot loan the assets, but can issue notes saying that they have X on deposit and loan that out. On our birth certificate, the value credit deposited into the treasury becomes an unmarketable security. This is Patrick Devine writing. This is his summary, okay? So once again, our birth certificate, our credit is deposited into the treasury because an unmarketable security, payment bond, I think the birth certificate, unmarketable security, is still in the bank treasury, and they're allowing marketable securities, the performance bond, derivatives, to be written. This is where the SF forms come in. The SF 30, 14, 14, 14, 15, 14, 16, 14, 18 for the marketable securities draw. That's why you want to pay all your bills with the marketable securities. As we are an Article 4 individual banker with our individual banker's EIN per the Constitution, using the 1455 and 1522 forms as the banker, we can transfer the assets to another bank, to us or the American Treasury. When he says to us, he means our private bank. When he says or the American Treasury, he's talking about the de jure Treasury, you know, the one that's part of the Republic, not the commercial UCC contract trust for-profit corporation American Treasury. Okay, so that is market. I love this document. It's just so clean, so to the point. I really love that one. Okay. Now, let's get to the meat of all of this. Let's get into the SF forms. The SF forms. Aha. Okay. Let's start with, let's see. Let's start with the 1414. Okay. Let's start with the SF 1414. What is the SF 1414? And then we'll get into the payment and the performance bonds. It's like I've said this already a couple of times. It's your consent of surety. Okay. So there is the one principle. The principle is the living. Okay. That's you, the living individual. So you'll put your first, middle, last. Then you'll type the same, your normal address, and then your title. Your title is individual banker. You as the living, because you have your non-UCC one, right? Well, the non-UCC one of the private bank that you just created to be the secured party over your debtor, you're the individual banker of that bank. You're the living. You're the one that operates that bank. And that's why you're putting individual banker there. Okay. Now, without going too fast, let me start in the top section. Excuse me. I meant to start in the top section. So the contract number. Anytime you're dealing with these SF forms, they're going to ask for what the contract number is. And the contract number is going to be the ID code. That might be your certificate of live birth number. That might be your driver's license number. That might be your mortgage title number. That might be your social security number. That might be your state contract numbers, like account numbers and so on. It might be even, I showed an example last time, or I got a hospital bill, and I was like, okay, I need to deal with this hospital bill. Well, the hospital bill was attached to my SSN number, so that was the UCC contract trust where they create an account for that. So I just put that account number on there. When I'm dealing with federal things, I use the actual number. Like if I was to do liquidation, like through the Treasury Department, with a transfer by deed for my SSN, let's say, then I would put my SSN in there. But if I'm dealing with like a mortgage, a utility bill, or my car, something like that, I want to put the account number that's attached to that social security number in order to give the direction. So like if I have a utility bill, I put the account number of the utility bill there, okay? I don't have to put my SSN number there, all right? Because that's what's specifically outlining the account that needs settlement, right? So if you got a utility bill and you're just like, okay, I got my utility bill, it's $100. I want to offset the charge of that utility bill, so I'm going to put the account number for that utility bill, and the bond associated with that utility bill is attached to my SSN already, okay? I hope that makes sense. So a fixed seal, you'll put your signature, you'll fix your seal, which is your thumb print, get yourself a red ink pad. Then the corporation is your bank, all caps, individual banker. And then finally, the corporate individual surety name, the corporate individual surety section, the surety, your debtor, goes down here. And who has the control over the surety, according to your non-UCC 1, is your individual banker. And you'll fix your seal. Now, you need to sign here, 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 thumbprint here, here, and here. Okay. I hope that was clear. Now let's go one back. So 1414. Now let's go to the 1416. The payment bond. The payment bond. Okay. Here's a class trivia question. Is a payment bond a marketable or a non-marketable security? Who can answer that?
Non-marketable?
Non-marketable.
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 Non-marketable. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. You need to know the difference. What pays your bills and what is just a non-marketable security that has a set value. When it comes to these bonds, you will never, I don't care if you call up the state, I don't care if you call up your bank, I don't care if you call up your mama, you ain't never gonna find out how much these payment bonds are worth. You know, I tried, I did everything that I could, I sent letters, I went all over the state to just figure this stuff out, and they know, but they won't tell you, okay? So what you wanna do is you'll go in the principal. So who's the principal? You are the living person is always the principal. But where are you operating as the principal? If you're operating as the living, what jurisdiction should you be in? You should be in the republic. Okay? This is the principle that's referenced in your non-UCC. And now it's being referenced again. So now you put the surety, you know, and notice the surety definition is the same on your non-UCC, a UCC Social Security surety for a for-profit organization. You are putting you as the individual. You'll put the date the bond is executed. So, for example, Thomas Beaumont, the right-hand man of Patrick, or at least, you know, his supporter, he's doing a transfer by deed. This is what this document is used for. So what he did is he put the date of the bond that was executed, which was the date that he was born. You know, that's when that bond was executed, or maybe the bond when he got his SSN number. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. But anyways, so let's take an example like a utility bill, right? You wrote down the account number. Now, when is the bill? Now you got the bill. Now you got the date of when the bill was issued to you, or you could put the date of when you registered the account. That's a question I'm answering myself, because the date a bond was executed, is it the date that you started being with your utility company, or is it the date when they sent you the bill in the first place? I always put it as the date that they sent me the bill, okay? Because oftentimes, I would really have to go further back, because the question would be, when did I execute the bond to be established, would be then when I contracted with them. So if you want to, you can put the contract when it was started, because that's what happens with vehicles, right? And when I did with my mortgage, I put the original date of when I got the title, okay? When I first got the vehicle. And then I reference it there. But then new recurring bills, I would just put the latest date of the bill that was there. Either way, it'll work, because you're being specific enough and you can explain your reasoning. That's where it is, okay? Next, you'll put in the penal sum of the bond. This is to your decision, okay? So if you are saying, okay, I want to take out of the payment bond $1 million, you would write in $1 million, okay? Then you would put the contract date once again, and then the contract number. And then at the very bottom here, you're going to do the principal signature and the surety signature, which again is the debtor, and you are the living person, the principal. Okay. Now, 1416. Let's go to the 1418. The performance bond. Is the performance bond a marketable or non-marketable security?
Marketable.
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 There you go. Okay, so this is, what would you use a marketable security for?
Bills.
Yep, there you go. And taxes. Okay, so similar, you put the date of the bond that is executed at the very top. You'll put you, the living, as the principal in the republic of the state that you live in. And then you put then the surety, which is your all caps person's name. And then you'll once again put the contract date, the contract number, and the penal sum amount of the bond listed inside of there. Now, every time you do a contract, you're going to choose either to pull from the performance or the payment bond, or both. It's up to you. You don't have to pull from both of them in every transaction that you do, okay? Just as a side note. Then, once again, there's the principal. You're the principal, the individual banker, and then your surety is your UCC surety right there, okay?
Paul, but you said that the payment bond only has a set amount, so you wouldn't take a lot out of that. You would take more out of the performance bond, correct?
We're going to get into that. I'm going to answer your question right now.
Okay.
All right. Let's go over the SF30 form, okay? So once again, very top is your contract ID code, okay? That's where you'll put the certificate of live birth, the driver's license, the mortgage title, the SSN, and so on. And then on amendment modification number, wherever you see a modification of it, this is your personal record keeping. So you can use any denomination of numbers that you like. You can put 01, 02, 03. This is for your records, okay? And then you'll put the effective date, which is today's date. And then the requisition is non-applicable to us because this is for corporations. We're not operating as a for-profit corporation, okay? You'll put now your living principal issued by the principal, which is you in the Republic. And once again, your UCC. Now, this is a little bit different. So he's naming now the corporation, okay? So when you go into number 8, you're going to name the entity that you are modifying the contract with, okay? You named your surety in your 1414, and then you 1416, you did your payment bond, and then 1418, you did your performance bond. But you gave those instructions on where to pull it from, but now you're going to, in your SF30, be specific about what company that you're dealing with, okay? So if you have a bank, utility company, you'll put their information here. Then you're going to do an X on the modification of contract. Again, the number will match the same as the contract code, and you put the date. Now, you can do an X here on the amendment of solicitation. If you've come to my previous classes, can anybody tell me what would go in the amendment of solicitation section?
Case number.
Case number, absolutely. A solicitation is anything that a government entity enforces on you, like a police officer writing you a ticket, or you have a court number, anything that's a solicitation. That's why Patrick Devine, when he had his 2016 Ford Fusion, and you look at the back of all the stickers he put on it, one of them was no solicitation, which is the same that a lot of us have on our front doors for our houses, is no soliciting. We usually think of that as like, oh, don't try to sell me something. Well, it's the same thing. No solicitation is don't try to enforce or put any rules on me that I do not agree to or give consent for.
Paul,
Yeah.
would a bill be a solicitation?
No.
So
that's
only stick to the state.
Yeah, exactly. Because those are from your contractors. Okay, those are your contractors. A solicitation is a for-profit private government entity trying to serve you with something because you broke basically their unconstitutional laws.
Thank you.
And there's not a no soliciting sign on the courthouse.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why the solicitor can solicit you into a contract.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go on. This section 11, nothing for you to fill out here. Okay. Number 13, this item only applies to modification of contract orders. Okay, it modifies the contract number as described in item 14. Okay, so item 14 is the description of the contract modification that you're doing. You will select this box. This change order is issued pursuant to specified authority to the changes set forth in item 14, which is right down here, are made in contract order number item 10A. And then he wrote inside of here, modify contract and liquidate existing securities to settle account and deposit to issuer's EIN number. So what Thomas Beaumont is doing by going to the IRS Technical Analysis and Control Support Division is he's ordering them to liquidate the performance and the payment bonds from his SSN account and to be deposited into his private bank. And then he goes into this, which is section E, very important. You got to mark this off. Does the contractor required to sign and return copies to the issuing officer? There is a yes and a no to these statements, okay? 90% of the time, it's going to be no.
What do you say is it?
Andre, please mute. Andre, please mute.
I'm going to one late. I'll go with you to this level.
I have complete muting power. Hold on. And
One of those electrified green hands to use against Robo Mommy. There's gotta be one arm around here somewhere. It's over there.
oh, that's a great feature. I love that feature. All right, back to it. So now on here, he wrote pursuant to his non-UCC, he's referencing his non-UCC, and he put his registered mail number there. Issuer hereby orders the total liquidation of for-profit UCC government collateral trust certificates and deposit those assets into issuers' individual, private bankers, nonprofit, EIN account number, and then they put the account number right there. So that's what he's ordering. And then he put in his title, which is his living name as the individual banker. And then he signs it right below and puts the date of which the contract is there. That is it for the SF30. Yeah, that is how easy it is to modify a contract. Now I'm going to give you a couple more examples here. So for example, let's say you got, I want to pick something. Let me see. I can use both examples. Let me see if I actually have one. I mean, I got so many SF30s I filled out. Maybe I can just pull up one of my examples. Okay.
A property tax bill.
Okay, let's do property tax. All right, give me a second. Let's go to a blank one. Can I write in this? I can't write in this. Oh, I know what I'll do. I know what I'll do. Let's do this. Oh, you know what? I wanted to show this anyways because all of y'all asked the same question. All right. All right. So you're in Google, okay? You go to Google and you type in GSA forms, okay? The website, gsa.gov, will pop up. You'll hit that. Then, when you're on their website, you'll see the form name or number. So let's do SF30. Then you'll do a filter. Then, what will pop up is the amendment of solicitation modification of contract. You'll click that one. Then you'll be led to this page, which tells you the form, the revision date, and so on. You click the title, and then you have a fillable version of this, okay? So let's say, what example did you say, sir? What example? Someone throw out an example.
Property
tax.
Property tax, you said.
Property tax, or just, how about the whole property? Let's do that. So let's do.
How about it?
Yeah, how about it, right? I want to pay my property taxes, even though I owe $300 million on it. Like, okay. So here's Bank of America, Wells Fargo, etc. Okay. Usually Bank of America, Wells Fargo, they have a debt settlement office.
We can't see the screen.
Oh, you can't see the screen. Oh, thank you for telling me that.
We can't see.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, how about now?
Thank you.
No problem. All right, so now you got here the name and address of contractors. So you got Bank of America, Wells Fargo, et cetera, whatever it is. And then they usually have a debt settlement office. Hey, I want to pay off my whole entire debt and blah, blah, blah. And then you'll write that here. It's usually in a different state other than your own. You don't want to send this to your local branch. They're not going to know what to do with it. They'll probably send it back to you and say, hey, we don't deal with the complete settlement or whatever. So you got to go to a debt settlement office.
Wow.
Okay. Then you'll put your account number, for your mortgage. Okay. Then you'll put the date. So let's say you bought it in 2/15/2015. Okay. Then you'll go down, hit that you want to modify. I'm like, I would say modify contract to liquidate the performance and payment bond and deposit to my let's do commercial bank account, and that number is blah blah blah. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm giving an instruction not to deposit into my private bank, but to deposit it into a commercial bank account, which would be at Bank of America, Wells Fargo, whatever. Okay, or you can change that and you say, okay, maybe deposit it, or don't deposit. How about
Send a check.
send a check and send payment. Well, payment is the word. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking stuff up. Via check. Okay. Now you go down.
Redeem at par.
Whatever it might be. Contractor is not blah 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 required to do this. So I would write SF 1414, which is what? What's is the 1414?
Consent of surety.
Mm-hmm. Oh, excuse me. I mean 1416. What's the 1416?
Payment.
Good. Okay. I want to liquidate, or I order to the liquidation of the performance bond to pay for my monthly bills or mortgage. And then SF 1418. Again, I'm using this right off the top of my head. For liquidation to settle the debt remaining on my mortgage for $200K. Okay. Now, again, I'm way more detailed than this, but just give you guys kind of a light example. I want to liquidate the performance bond to pay for my monthly bills or mortgage in the amount of, let's say your mortgage is $800 a month. Or you could do the full liquidation and settlement for the debt that you have remaining, which is $200,000. Now, whatever you say here or here for these forms, what do you think you have to do for the SF 1416 and 1418?
Total it and put it on that form.
Yep, put it in the penal sum column. Okay, because now you're saying $800 and $200,000. You got to put in the penal sum column of the 1416 and the 1418. Then you put your name and title and your signature. You're the principal, the individual banker, and then you go ahead and date it from there. But that's pretty much it. That's how simple this form is. You can write whatever or however you want, and you can choose both of them, or you can just choose to have one of them. You can just say, no, I just want to settle the debt. Here's $200,000, and that's it. Okay, so now you know where to go to get the forms. I discussed each form, I believe. I think I covered them all. And so now...
So, Paul, you don't have to have the EINs all that set up yet, right? For these?
Oh, you got what? How you gonna be the secured party if you don't got the EINs?
Oh, so you do have to have it set up before you do this?
Absolutely. Well, otherwise, who you gonna say? Like Peter Rabbit gonna pay for all of it? You got to have the secured party. That's what really gets all control over everything, to give the instructions for these performance and payment bonds. And even the surety, the consent of surety example, lists the principal and the corporate, which is your individual banker's EIN, over the surety SSN number.
But you don't have to go through the whole SBC process necessarily, right? I mean, just the EIN part of it, or that's where I'm kind of confused on.
Everything that I said at the beginning of the class and until now is what you need to do.
So Paul,
And actually, we still need to do the 3 EINs, which I'm about to go over right now.
so clarification there, Paul. We
Mhm.
have to have the foundational non-UCC, the 3 EINs, but we don't need the actual secure party creditor UCC 1 lien. Do we
Oh,
have
I
to
see what
do
you guys.
that?
So you guys are talking about the Treasury Department.
Yes,
Okay, no, that's a separate thing.
got it.
You deal with the Treasury Department by sending them notice, because all you're doing is this. You're doing a micro version of the macro process. Okay, the macro process is to get all of your assets transferred back into the de jure Treasury, so then you can have access for settlement and stuff. That's where 99% of all of your transactions going forward for the rest of your life will go through, because now you fall under HJR 192 and all the other ones. But this is the micro version. You're becoming a secured party under the non-UCC laws, so then you can make actionable claims right now.
And then once we got our estate EIN for someone that doesn't have their SPC, they could use that to file their UCC 1, their estate EIN.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
because when you do the SPC process, you're going to use these same 3 EIN numbers.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, okay. Sorry about that, Brian. I just didn't understand totally clearly. My mistake about that.
No, that's cool. I'm still learning all this. And,
yeah, no worries, no worries. I got you. I was right there too. All right, now let's go over the final thing. How are we doing on time? 5:13. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna go. Okay, here's the deal. For course number 2, class number 2, I'm gonna go over the EINs. I still have to go over the bills of credit. That's a super important document I have to address. And then when we get into the individual bankers' EINs, we'll do that for next course. For those of you that want me to just sit down with you to go over it with you about the individual bankers' EIN, please feel free to book a consultation with me. To book a consultation, send an email to paulmichael@creditoracademy.com, and I will send you an appointment link on my calendar. Due to time and the questions that are going to be asked today, I do not have time to go over each of the 3 EINs, but by next week, Tuesday, for our second class, we will. But what I do want to present is this. There we go. Is the bills of credit, okay? Bills of credit. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So bills of credit in the UCC contract law of shadow money. Okay, super important document. When I found this treasure inside of Patrick Devine's work, I was like, man, you really did all the work for us. Like, we just have to just copy your templates. But per the Constitution for the United States of America, Article 1, Section 10, no state, all caps, shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or a law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. If they are a foreign state of constitutional insurrection. Once again, guys, this is your total control. This is Article 1, Section 10. Here's the kicker by Patrick Devine. The United States, the state of, and licensed banks are foreign states, and they do not fall under the above restriction. Therefore, every bill is commercial money, and it is a state, all caps, or bank, all caps, bill of credit, which is either a traffic ticket, a tax bill, a court charge, etc., which they issue as a draw upon the credit they hold under their commercial construction contracts, which is the driver's license, which is the mortgage, which is the certificate of title to a vehicle or a house or a property, or your marriage or your birth certificate or your social security number, etc., through the performance bond and or the payment bond. Okay, so really quick recap. The bill of credit is the bill. Think of bill, any bill that you get, which is this. And the bills are backed by the construction contracts, the bonded construction contracts, which are under your driver's license, your mortgage, your certificate of title, and all that. So that's why when I go in and I'm doing these SF forms, I'm trying to find out what the construction contract number is that is being pulled up against. And then the bill of credit for the type of ticket or bill that's I have to offset. So if you endorse it as a bill of state credit as per the UCC demand and the payment or commercial charge settlement at any state banking window, clerk of the court, state treasury, or licensed bank, Bank of America or whatnot, demand a copy of a 1099-C showing debt cancellation. Okay, so let's do a quick example. You guys have a court transact or a court case. Okay, who are you going to take your bill of state credit to do the settlement? Where would you take that to?
Clerk of the court.
Great. Okay, now you want to do an offset of your mortgage or your car. Who do you take the bill of credit to?
Secretary of State.
Great. You could do the Treasury. You can do the Treasury. I will say that, but you will want to go to your licensed bank first, whoever you have the contract with. Always, every single time, y'all, when I take questions from y'all, I look past what your story or your background is. Not to say that it's not an important piece of information for how you got into that situation, but this is how I'm trying to guide you or give suggestion on how to look at your situation. I'm trying to look for what is the bill of credit. Is it a traffic ticket you're telling me about? Is it a tax bill, a court case, whatever? And then I'm trying to figure out who you have a contract with that this bill is under, whether it's your driver's license, mortgage, certificate of title. And I'm trying to figure out what agency I need to send you to in order for you to get settlement. Everything right here on how I deduce everything is just in this little box. And that's how I want you to look at it as well. Identify the bill, figure out who you had a contract with, and go ahead and do settlement with the correct agency. Okay?
Hey, Paul, real quick. It says endorse it as a bill of state credit. Am I putting the name of the state or just leave it the way it is?
I'm going to show you exactly how it's supposed to look here in a moment.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, let's go over the definitions of bill of credit. It's a paper issued by a state, all caps, intended to circulate as money or to answer the ordinary purposes of money, bill of credit. Your certificate of live birth is a bill of credit, okay? It's your land claim to America. That's why you never want to destroy any of those documents because they're worth money. Your driver's license is worth money. It's got credit on it. You can surrender it. You cannot use it, but there's still funds on it. That's why you need to liquidate it. Okay, bill of credit. It is provided by the Constitution of the United States under Article 1, Section 10, that no state shall emit bills of credit or make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment or debts. Such bills of credit are declared to mean promissory notes, those Federal Reserve notes, or bills issued exclusively on the credit of the state, and for the payment of which the faith of the state only is pledged. The prohibition, therefore, does not apply to the notes of the state bank drawn on the credit of a particular fund set apart for the purpose. Bills of credit may be defined to be paper issued and intended to circulate through the community for its ordinary purposes as money redeemable at a future day. That is such an important sentence. And money redeemable at a future day. That's any day that you decide you want to claim. Okay? This phrase is used in another sense among merchants. It is a letter sent by an agent or other person to a merchant, desiring him to give credit to the bearer for goods or money. A merchant is another word for a creditor. Okay? So when you read that, it's used as among creditors is a letter to be sent by an agent or another person to another creditor, desiring him to give credit to the bearer for goods or money. Who's a creditor? You're a creditor. Who's the other creditor? It's the junior creditor. Okay? You can issue the credit over to whom you need settlement for through your unlimited credit to the other merchant. Bill of credit. In the constitutional law, a bill or promissory note is issued by the government of a state or nation upon its faith and credit designed to circulate in the community as money and redeemable at a future date. He's really trying to home it in. In mercantile law, a license or authority given in writing from one person to another for common among merchants, bankers, and those who travel, empowering a person to receive or take up money of their correspondence abroad. Let's take a driver's license and travel. Again, a license is a writing from one person to another for a promissory note of credits at a redeemable future date. Your driver's license has money. That is your faith and credit, and that you can redeem off of. And how do you redeem it? You have to do what we learned inside of the pyramid that we looked in earlier. Let's go back to the pyramid for just a second. You need to acknowledge and endorse. You need to with this part,
on that pyramid.
The side three, the UCC credit money in the form of bills of credit as the shadow surety bill to release the credits when you as the owner acknowledge, endorse, and return them to the contractor. They now owe the IRS a 1099-C showing the debt is canceled. This is the third side of the pyramid. So now when you go back and we do the, gosh, where was I? Was I in this one? No. Where was I? Someone tell me where I was.
Bill of credit.
Yep. Now I just need to find it.
If you would look at the word
Here we
you,
go.
it says I
There we go.
/OU.
Got it. So now here it is. Here's your acknowledgement and your endorsement, your third part of the pyramid. This bill is acknowledged as a foreign commercial bill of credit for the contractor's credit monetary obligation from your UCC contract trust for the assigned value of X amount of dollars. We use the example of a mortgage, 200 grand. You put 200 grand right there. And per the UCC laws, it is endorsed in return for set-off and or payment settlement against the noted foreign commercial construction contract number. What's the foreign commercial construction contract number for your mortgage?
Loan number, account
Yep,
number.
exactly. Loan or account number. From the required contractor surety performance bond and or payment labor bond, or both. Together, they are listed and traded as a fidelity bond. The IRS requires a 1099-C to be filed by the UCC contractor to show the commercial UCC national debt has been canceled. That's an important sentence. The national debt. When this is canceled and set off, you're setting off the performance in the payment bond. And as we discussed at the beginning, this is what causes the inflation of the national debt. So by having the payment or the liquidation of these bonds, you're lowering the national debt. And then if you're lowering the national debt, you need a 1099-C to show that it's been canceled. So it's been deducted. If they don't, that means that they're doing IRS, they're fleeing the IRS and not putting down on their taxes that they canceled that debt. And that's why you need a copy B of the 1099-C, which is for the borrower. And then they send the copy A to the IRS, and then they keep the copy C for themselves. After 3 days, this action comes under Title 15 USC Section 1 as a charge to the IRS and CID because they didn't report it on their taxes. And you also need to report it as well. So you need it too.
Paul?
Signed by the UCC owner, signed and sealed. Put your name at the bottom and put your thumbprint. This will go on a 45-degree angle on the back of your bills.
Paul?
Yep.
Let's say we do set off a mortgage using this endorsement and all the documents that go with it. How do we offset the tax bill? Because it would be considered income.
Okay, so now you got taxes to pay, right?
Right.
Okay, who can answer what you pay your taxes and your bills with?
SF 14, SF 16,
Credits.
SF, same thing.
Well, yeah, credit.
That's it.
But
That's
we
it.
would wait for a bill? Is that what we would do?
Any
You don't if you're not a
taxes
US citizen.
you have to pay.
Right. I'm not a citizen. That's right.
Yeah, that's it. That's
If
it.
you're not domiciled in what the District of Columbia, you don't pay.
Yep. I'm a national.
That's my answer.
That's it. So yeah, so that's how that goes. Okay. That was a lot of information. I appreciate you all doing that. I will now do this. Take questions. I see some hands already up. Any questions on the first, and that we're going to start with that first. Any questions on any of the material that we went through today? Let's start there.
And what if you're not a national?
No,
What if you're
let's
not
start
a
with SC. I'm going by hands raised. So let's go to SC.
I think that's probably me. Wow.
That is.
Hey, thank you so much. I've listened to all your other videos and was so
Okay.
bummed when a couple of them got pulled down on YouTube.
Mhm.
So thank you for everything. Okay. One of my questions, regarding the name, when you're on the UCC, and you're referring to the living name, the principal, and you put your first, middle initial, last name. I have been under the understanding that the living woman is first, middle, last, not first, middle, initial, last. So would you mind clarifying that for me? Or
Yeah, first, middle, last.
it is first. Okay, then, because I'm looking at the documents, and on a couple of them under principal, it's got like I'm looking at individual. Okay, like on SF form 1414, for instance, I'm looking at your template, and it says name of principal, and it's your first, middle initial, last.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so wouldn't that be your wouldn't that be first, middle, last?
Anytime you're doing a living name, it's not so much, I mean, it is definitely how you write it, but it's the upper and lower case that makes the difference.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
If that's an easier way to kind of think about it. And you can do Mr. or Mrs. That's a living name signature. Oftentimes put Mr. Paul Michael Rowland.
And that's
Or
not
you
a
could
title
put-
of nobility?
Or you
Like,
can put
would that-
by, or you can put authorized representative. There's many ways that you can write your living name, but it's always uppercase, first letter, lowercase, all the other stuff.
Okay, yeah, I got you on that. Okay, cool. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. I'll let someone else go. I
No
appreciate everything.
problem. All right, let's go to Deep End. Good to see you again, my friend.
Hey, we were talking about the liquidating the nonprofit private banker EIN account number when Thomas Beaumont did that. Where, I'm sorry, this is probably a stupid question, but where is that account? Do you have to go to a bank and open an account? When you liquidate that Social Security into that account, where is that?
It's an account number that you created when you registered for your EIN number.
Okay, but where is that housed?
Inside of your private bank.
May I add to that?
Where is the private bank when you set that private bank up? Is that like an account?
Yeah, that's your EIN number.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, go for it, Denise.
Okay, so when you add money to that account, that means that that EIN is funded. So when you do your taxes, you can claim those funds on a form, whatever form that the individual banker files, and recoup your money back that way. Am I correct in saying that?
Okay.
You should book. You keep your book.
Yeah, got you. Okay, let's go in order. I don't want a
You
bunch of
ought to be.
people.
Hold on.
Yeah, I hear you, Joseph. Let me answer these questions. Okay, Deep End. Is your main question, how do I access these funds?
Yes.
Okay, that's it. And that's everybody's question. If you want to access your funds, do this right now. Grab a piece of paper, any piece of paper. Grab a pen. And what you're going to do is you're going to write on this piece of paper just like a check. You're going to write down the account number. You're going to write down the routing number. And then you're going to write down the amount that you want to liquidate or take out of the account. You're going to put your signature. You're going to put the draft check number. You're going to put the date. And you're going to put who it's being addressed to, the payment to be addressed to. And then you're going to write out the amount, like $100, ONE $100, and then X out the rest. Then you're going to hand that to somebody, and then they're going to process the payment. And then they'll be able to get the assets out of the account. You can make your own checks even too.
That is a bill of credit that you just created?
Yeah, that's a form of bill of credit, yeah.
Okay, so when you create your private bank, you don't need to go somewhere and set up an account.
No, as soon as you get your EIN number, you did it. You created it.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Have a good night.
No problem. Charlie McClain.
Hello. My question is, if you have a court case, how do you find out which contract you're under? And also, when you do find out, when you do get that court case, all you do is put the acknowledgement and endorsement on that case, and then that's how you set it off. That's my question.
Yep. I want you, and everybody really for this matter, is to look at that bills of credit document that Patrick put together. It in that little box, I kid you not, I answer every single person's question in all of these groups based off of that little box. I do nothing else. You're bringing up to me a court case. I'm thinking about it the same way that it's in that box. I'm trying to identify what the bill of credit is. Okay, what is it? Is it a court case? Is it a bill from the utility company? What is the bill? In your case, you're saying it's a court case, so there's a court case number. Then I need to ask myself, what is that court case number or bill going against? Is it going against a marriage certificate? Like, are you getting a divorce? Did you do a traffic violation? So it's against the driver's license number. Did you do tax fraud? So maybe they do it against your social security number. I'm trying to identify what that ticket is attached to, because whatever it's attached to, that's what has the credit. That's what's got all the money. You don't have money, but your driver's license has money. You don't have money, but your marriage certificate has money. And then the last thing I do is I try to think to myself, okay, Charlie's going to court. Who do I need to send my forms to liquidate the money to settle the bill of credit? Oh, I need to send it to the clerk of the court. That's who I need to send it to. Guys, that is my breakdown for anything you ever bring up to me. I look past the story and I just say, what's the bill? What's the bill attached to? And what's the state of corporation that you had a contract with that I need to do the contract modification with? Does that answer your question?
Yes. So to be proper, to have the correct understanding, say if it's a mortgage, then that probably would be attached to the Social Security, correct?
Yeah, it could be attached to the Social Security. I mean, yeah, absolutely. The Social Security is kind of that's the for-profit corporate trust that was created. There, you got you as or your mother as the grantor. Then you got the Social Security number. Then they got the certificate of live birth. So you got the certificate of live birth. You got the Social Security number, and then you got, what's the third one? I'm forgetting the third one.
Estate.
Driver's license.
Yeah, and that,
The one
because
on the
then
back of the
whatever.
Social Security
Then you got the bill. Then you got the bill. Excuse me.
Done.
Yeah. So that's so when we're looking at the private side, we're creating our own trust where the Godhead is our private banker's EIN. Then we are housed. Then it's housing our trust, our foreign grantor trust. You're foreign. You're in the private. You're operating in a private trust. That's why you do it. That's your security. You know, that's the living. That's literally the soul of your bank, is that foreign grantor trust. Then you have your estate, which is the body of that, or the checking account of that of your individual bank as well. So those are your cohesive measures to that. So yeah, if you're dealing with a mortgage, it's probably attached to your SSN. Almost all mortgage contracts ask for your SSN number. Okay,
Thanks.
let's go to Kevin.
Okay, I have a question. My question is that do I have to be American State National for this to work? And then I have another question.
How do you become an American State National?
Declaring it 1776 statement and 2 witness statements.
Who do you send that to?
Secretary of State and DC, other governmental agencies also, and you register with the State Assembly.
And what are you looking to accomplish by doing that?
Claiming your strawman, basically.
You're trying to be the secured party.
Yep.
That's
Okay, so I have to.
That's your non-UCC.
Yep.
Okay, so I have to do that in order for that to work, and then I have to do that for the foreign national bank. I mean, am I correct?
Okay, say that again. I didn't quite get that.
Okay. The bank. Now see, I can't. I'm not familiar with all the terms. This is my first day here. I'm forgiving.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine, Kevin. Glad that you're here, buddy. Yeah, no worries.
Okay, so when you're a bank, your bank is not of the U.S. Am I correct? Even though it's Go ahead.
It is foreign because you got your foreign grantor trust, which is foreign. That is your trust. You're operating through your own made trust. There's the for-profit corporation trust. Now you made your own trust. That's why you get your foreign grantor trust.
Okay, so do I have to be American State National in order for that to work properly?
No, because you're saying American State National, but what you should be saying is secured party.
Gotcha.
Because all you care about is having control of the straw man. I get what you're saying, and I totally understand it. I'm just trying to change your way of thinking about it a little bit because these terms get thrown out. You want to operate under the Republic of the United States, which is the private jurisdiction outside of the corporate straw man structure that was created at your birth. So what you're doing is when you're saying I'm an American national, you're really trying to say I'm part of the Republic. I'm not part of your statutory laws that you keep on. I'm part of the statutes of the American Constitution, but not part of your statutory made up laws that you keep adding and to infinitum.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How does that work on the non-UCC when you put down under the?
I'm going in order of the questions. You got to raise your hand. Okay, so I'm going to go to Lovemore.
That's me.
That's
This is Angela. Yeah. So I got two questions. The eviction, if you get an eviction notice, right?
Mm-hmm.
That when you go to can you do it administratively or do you have to appear in person? Okay, that's the first question. Then say that I see a house that I want to buy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I make an offer on it.
Mm-hmm.
Once I sign that contract, then it's a binding contract, and I can write that off. Set it off, correct?
And this is a lot of times people, I kind of tell people this because now you're talking about new assets, new property. There's no contract, there. So now you are starting the contract, right? The banks, the all corporate capital banks are coming into our republic and they're trying to say we own everything. Okay? We own everything. Any house that you see is really yours. You can conquer and own anything that you see. A corporation, this for-profit UCC Commercial Contract Trust Corporation that was started in 1913, is trying to take all those assets and say, I'm the secured party over it. If you become the secured party, you can claim anything because they don't have rights over it that you do. Now, that doesn't mean you can't go up to your neighbor's house who's been paying his mortgage for the last 30 years and just say, hey, I'm taking your crap, and it's now all mine now. No, you don't want to do that. But I do for people who wanted to get into the housing market, I suggest you look at foreclosures. Less pressure. You're just like, hey, I want to look at it. You would then kind of get in. Now this kind of dips into the UCC 3, because then you need amendments. Because when you did your UCC 1, did you put down in your UCC 1 that house that you're interested in now, or that car, or that blah, 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 whatever? No, you need an amendment. Now you need to write in there that your secured party creditor under that UCC 1, under an addendum means in addition to. So you have an addendum, the UCC 3 is what it's called, and that addendum, you can put in the specifics of that property. That's what you did also with a lot of secured party process with the Treasury Department, right? You did your UCC 1 filing and you said something like, oh, I take control of all contracts, chattel paper, bills, I'm the secured party, right? But you didn't list your car. You didn't list your mortgage title in there. You didn't list all the other stuff. You didn't list your driver's license number and all that. And it wasn't even listed in here in your UCC 1 that Patrick did. he put all of that stuff in the UCC3 or is transferred by deed. That's how he was claiming things. And then from there, now you have a claim to it. You have a claim. Now you can start your process for your claim to do the discharge and settlement of what that foreclosure wasn't able to fulfill. Maybe the foreclosure has like $100,000 left on it. You're like, okay, well, now I have a claim to the property, but there's still a debt to the property. Well, now I need to fulfill the debt. SF30 form, your 1414, 1416, 1418, with a nice little cover letter, your endorsement and stuff like that. Now you can start the process. That's how you go about it.
Okay.
Hope it makes sense.
It did.
Okay.
Now, what about the eviction?
What about it?
Oh, once again, do you appear?
Go back and squat.
This is no squatting. I don't say no squatting, no nothing. Guys,
Right.
pay your bills. You have unlimited credit.
Okay.
Hey,
You can do it.
hold on. Squatting was made for when they kick you out. You're supposed to go back and squat in your house. You are supposed to. Otherwise, they say you abandon it and you acquiesce it. They put a 1099A on it and take it.
Oh, I don't want the house.
No, you're not going to do a squat. What you're going to do is you're going to fill out your SF30, fulfill
I
the
know
debt,
that's
and everybody
supposed
leaves.
to do. I'm saying.
So you say
I got you. I wasn't saying go squat. I got a lot more other information. But
so, Paul, what you're saying is to answer the eviction, right? And then do a SF30, correct?
Yeah, fulfill whatever debts you got. We just went over, just take care of your bills. Say, I'm taking it from the performance or the payment bond. Here you go. I made a settlement. That's it.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Rosalind. Okay, Haywood.
Hey,
Yes.
yeah, it just came by.
Yes,
It
yes,
was
yes,
I couldn't get it off
yes.
of mute. Yeah, I couldn't get it off of mute, but I wanted to know if I want to get credits back from paying off, because I paid off a lot of credit card debt over the past few years, and I want to get my monies back or credits back. How can I go about doing that?
Your SF 1047, which we haven't gone over.
SF 1047. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Every
also,
receipt, everything with your name on it, you can get it back. That's how Patrick Devine, he paid 25 grand for his Ford Fusion. He did a 1047, got it all back.
Okay. Okay. So
Wait a
it's
minute,
best
what
to
was the
have
question?
them send statements.
No, you got to keep the receipts.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. All right. Now let's go on to I don't know where the other person went.
What was the question, Paul, when you was saying about the 1047?
1047 is is your payment voucher. It's how you can reclaim things that you pay for. Let's say you went to Walmart, bought something for $100. Now you want, because guys, when you spend money out of your own back pocket and you give it to Walmart or whatever, you can use your credits to reimburse you, as long as you can provide a receipt. And so what you do with a 1047 voucher, a payment voucher, is you put in what, again, like that box, you identify what the ticket was, what the SF30, all that, and you just get your funds back by your disbursement officer. Your disbursement officer is the driver's license, is the certificate of live birth, is the SSN, whatever it might be. And then that disbursement officer credits is what's going to reimburse you. And then that does an accounting thing at the Treasury Department. And we're going to cover more into that when we get into establishing a UCC contract trust in the basis of the Treasury system by Patrick Devine. Actually, you can learn about that with the video that's posted up on our YouTube, establishing a UCC contract trust. Yep.
What video number is that, Paul?
It's the one that's I think it's video number 3, establishing a UCC contract trust on YouTube.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Let's go to In the Know. In the Know.
Hey, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I got 3 quick questions. on the forever stamp, can you just put like a $1 stamp there instead of a forever stamp, or it doesn't matter?
I would try to find a 2-cent stamp, make it cheap on you, don't go broke.
Okay, so you're just saying any stamp there will do.
Yeah, he put a forever stamp, you can use a 2-cent. I mean, I went there and I was like, how much is a forever stamp? And they're like, you got $1. And I was like, yeah, I got $1. Okay, here you go.
Okay, so it doesn't matter the stamp. So thank you. That answered
Yeah,
that.
no problem. Mhm.
What state do you put on your non-UCC? So if you were born
The
in
state you're residing in.
okay, the state you're residing in, thank you.
Yeah, that's where you're because that's where all your contracts are, right? Is your house, your car, you bought everything in that state pretty much.
That's true. That's true. How about, can I have more than one individual bank or EIN?
Why?
That's why I'm asking. I don't know why, but I'm just saying, what happens if when I set it up, I didn't use the first, middle, initial, last? I use my full name with the middle, no middle initial, but the full
That's
name.
fine. You can name your private bank whatever you want. You can call it Looney Tunes for all that matters.
Well, I know I'm talking about the living person name.
You didn't put you as the.
Well, I did, but I put it in my upper lowercase full name, not a middle.
Yeah, that's totally fine. When it's printed off from the IRS, it's going to be in all caps anyways.
Okay. Thank you. Those are my questions. I appreciate it.
No problem. And Lee.
Hey, Paul, I was the one that
Oh, Haywood. Yes.
Okay,
I remember. Okay,
So,
gotcha.
so
Go
my
for it.
question is pretty much similar to his. When I did my my SS4 for the banker, I believe that I put my private bank in the first category where my legal name of entity should have been, and vice versa. Now, do I need to go back and amend that, or do I just need to file for a new one? Or
so you put what'd you put where?
So I put my name, Haywood White, as the individual banker, as the trade. So it adds something like a legal name of business, right?
Right.
And I put I believe, now I can't quite remember, but I just wanted, because I also once I did it online, I did go ahead, because I thought that I misplaced it. I did go ahead and fax it over as well. And I was going to call them to see if there was a need for an amendment. But I just wanted to ask, if I did do that, do I need to change it? If I put my name as the individual banker as the trade name of the business and put the Haywood White Private Bank, ENT, as the legal name of
you
the
gotta
entity.
put the legal name as your living name, individual banker, CFO, and then the trade name, your first last name, private bank.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah, you'll have
That's
to
all I
double
need.
check that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Yen Lee.
Hi, how are you?
Doing so
my
good.
que-
Great to hear from you again.
Yes, I have talked to Devine. My question is, if my son is going to be 21, can he get a individual banker EIN after 21?
Well, the age of majority is at the age of 25. I mean, see the same thing. I had this question asked. You as the American part of the Republic, you have the ability to contract unlimited. So you can contract as much as you want. So if your son is 21 and he wants to make a contract modification, he's more than willing to do so. But make sure he reads Title, what is it, 15 USC? No, Title 40, 41? Title 41 USC. Anyways, it's the Shipping Act. And that's what the age of majority is under. He needs to read that and understand it. That's why the homework assignment is for you to go read all of those little file reference laws. So then you can be like, hey, I know exactly what constitutional laws I'm operating under that gives me the authority to do that. Because when you're in court, those are the only things that are going to protect you. And you better know them like the back of your hand. You may be like, oh, you're going to ask a question. The judge is going to be like, what makes you think you could do this and this and that? And you're like, well, it's my file reference data. It's this. And in this section, it says this and so on. All right. Hope
Can
that
I
answers.
ask one quick question?
Go for it. Quick.
So I have a bankruptcy court case that Texas said they say I owe them, so I just keep them same SF30 and then 14, 16 to them.
What you need to do is not worry about the SF forms. What you need to do is look at that bills of credit document, and you need to take that little box that's only one paragraph, and you need to really commit that into your mind. You
So
need to
same
yeah.
as clerk of the court, bankruptcy clerk of the court, then.
Okay, I think we lost. Okay, I don't know what happened. All right, let's go to Todd.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can.
All right. This is a strictly question for the bond, just so I have a proper understanding here. The bond that we're talking about, would it be considered the same thing as a registered bond?
It's a marketable and non-marketable security. Great.
Doesn't necessarily answer the question. That's a little bit confusing. Help me out here. If I wanted to find out about a registered bond, or what the definition of what the registered bond is with a little bit more understanding, because when you Google it, it's vague. What would you say about that?
Let's Google it. Registered bond is a debt instrument whose bondholders' information is kept on record with the issuing party. So who's the bondholder?
The bank.
And who's the issuing party?
Depends on what bond it is.
Your surety.
Got it.
Yeah. There you go. That's the whole mystery behind the registered bond. Okay, let's go to Basir.
How you doing, Paul? And thank you so
Hey,
much.
doing well, my friend.
My question is, can I be the banker, the individual banker over other family members, like my mother or my children? And I know the young lady already asked the question about, like, I have 3 daughters and they're different ages. Some of them are over 25. One of them is 21, but I was wondering about doing this for my mother as well.
I see. Yeah, so the answer to that's a very good question. This is more of a spiritual question more than anything, but you have to follow the spiritual order of God. It's God in Christ, Christ in man, man over women, women over children.
Okay.
So you have your wife and you have your children. Your mom is not part of that. You were supposed to separate from your parents and then go out on your own and kind of build your own life. So you cannot help them. Same thing with really good friends. Like, I have really great friends, but I can't help them. They have to help themselves.
Okay. So if I helped her become her own secure creditor, that would how I have to do it for her then.
She can only do that for herself. She would have to come here because when you start taking on cases for somebody else, you're creating your own bondage to that person, because now they rely on you as the source of information to get them out of that situation. So now every time they get a letter, a summons, a court date, or any correspondence, they always have to go back to you. That's why this journey of the truth movement, whatever, it's a spiritual following. Like, people are called to it, and they have eyes to see and ears to hear. So what I would do is I would present to your mother, hey, here's an ability for you to gain control over your life. Is your mom with your dad? Are they married still, or are they living?
No, they're both living. One of them is outside the country. One of them is inside the country. My mother's inside the country, and she's still living and everything.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She's gotta go her own path.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Paul. I
no
appreciate
problem. Let's go to Patrick. Patrick Smith.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, doing good, man. Great to hear from you.
Yeah, you as well.
Yep.
Okay, so question about the 1099-Cs, when we request those, is that kind of our balance for our bank if we keep track of what's been?
Very good. Yes. Yes, it would be. That would be your proof that the debt was settled, and that, well, that's the settlement of debt. First of all, that's a cancellation of debt, right? But if you get the cancellation of debt and everything else follows, then you'll have a deposit in your bank.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so once it's in there, is that where the funds for like the SF 1047, if we want to pay back what we've already paid or things like that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Past taxes, maybe, or more commonly, whatever you paid for your car or your house, then you just take all those receipts and process it for the refund into the treasury.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong, in my mind, that wouldn't be taxable because that's a transfer, but also it's a debt. Like you're taking control of your straw man. They put all that debt on him. You're just taking ownership of the debt, and that's getting paid back. So it's a principal payback. It's not income, right? So it wouldn't.
Yeah, it's not. I see what you're saying. Yeah, and again, when we operate in trust or all these trusts, like a foreign grantor trust and all that, it's for the ability to do commerce, to do business. So that's where kind of the taxing comes into it. There's another guru who's really popular, and he's all about the business trust. I've gone through all of his classes with the business trust. I really committed to it. I understand the commercial side of it, and that's why the suggestion is to create a corporation, where now you got the Patrick side of this, where he's doing a nonprofit banking organization. But they can both operate in commerce, and anything that you operate in commerce or are going to make a profit off of is taxable. But what does that matter when you can just do an SF30, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Our IRS hit me up and say, "Hey, you did this, you did that." I'm like, "All right, cool. Send me whatever. I got you."
Yeah. And just one comment. I had a friend tell me that there's a way you can more easily find the balance on your bonds is by going through a Bloomberg certified auditor.
Okay. I'll put that suggestion
about
to you. I'll take that suggestion. You show it to me.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah. If you find it or wherever this person or whatnot, and you could show it to me, man, I'll present that in class, right? Because I want to know what the bonds are.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, how would you feel if you got a snapshot of the bond, right? You type in your account number, whatever you got, and then all of a sudden it pops up. If you can present that to me, I'll present it for everybody to see, because we all want to see that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Cool.
those numbers, just so people know, there are some auditors, and those numbers are absolutely will blow your mind away how much a car note bond is worth.
Absolutely. Super a lot.
Normally it's $350 million.
Yeah, whatever it might be.
Can I comment on that? Because can I comment on it? Because I have the
No, I got other people I got to get to, and I'm going in order. And I'm trying to respect everybody's time with the further questions.
Yeah, well, I was going to comment on that bond, what he was talking about when you press for for what he was just talking about. I forget what he was just talking about. The
hey,
QSIS
Charlie,
number.
put that into the chat. Whatever you got, formulate your thoughts, put it into the
Okay.
chat, and then people will respond, and I'll look at it as well.
Okay. Good.
Okay, let's go to Susan.
Good evening.
Good evening, Susan. Great to speak with you.
Hey, super duper quick questions too. In the non-UCC filing, the registered mail, does any other instrument or any other document need to go in that envelope besides the form that the UCC? In other words, do the EINs need to go in there for the individual banker, estate, and whatever?
No, because on your you will send your non-UCC, which actually shows your individual banker's EIN. And then, so now you got your secured party there. You got your EIN referenced on the non-UCC. Then you got your surety form, which is the SF-14, which then shows the consent of the surety. So now you're pointing out the SSN, your private bank, and you as the principal individual banker on that. So you have more than enough inference on, who has the authority over that account.
Okay, so just that form. And then to clarify, based on somebody else's question on there, when you're talking about putting the place where you reside, you're talking about in the address part at the top where it says the city, the state, and the state republic. Not that's
wherever you receive your mail, but in the republic, which kind of gets you outside of the corporate.
But then at the bottom, in the collateral, we're putting like our strawman name, United States, state of, and that would be your birth state.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, that's all I got.
The state by which you are doing that, you have your contract that you'll be doing your contracts with, because wherever your majority of your contracts are, that's where you're going to be doing business. Like, for example, I had someone say, well, I was born in California, but now I live in Texas. Does my SSN number? And I was like, no, because your SSN number doesn't have an address. It's just attached to you. That's why debt follows you all around the world, no matter where you go and where you live. So it's wherever your principal location is, where you are residing and where the jurisdiction that you're under. You're under the jurisdiction. I'm under the jurisdiction of the Washington Republic because I live here.
Okay, I guess the thing I'm confused about is in the bottom in the collateral. I thought it was supposed to be the birth state because it's attached to the social security number. But what I'm hearing you say, I've lived most of my life in Ohio, but now I'm in Tennessee. But most of my licenses and stuff previous were Ohio. So I guess I'm trying to figure out what state I should be putting in the collateral part for the United States state of.
Well, let's read the sentence.
Okay.
This U.S. registered mail, Bailey, Baylor, non-UCC bonded security claim and lien stands over all caps, Thomas W. Wilson Beaumont, United States, state of Texas, banked or bonded labor credits. By law, the Bailey, as a private not-for-profit entity, may not own bonds. All collateral trust securities per the Miller Act must have a payment and performance bond to comply with the law. These bonds are to be brokered with proceeds transferred to the Bailey. Okay. Public American citizen Bailey. Yeah, no, this is the social security number, and
so it would be the birth state.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I see what you're saying, because he resides in the state of Pennsylvania, but he references Texas.
Yeah, so I'm referencing the top part where I currently reside, Tennessee, and then down in the collateral part
where you were born,
where I was born. Then I got it right. Yeah,
right.
Awesome.
There we go.
Thank you.
Yep. No problem. I need to look at it too, because all my stuff is within this state. But you're right. There's differences if you were born and then reside in a different state. Very, very good question. Hope that clears a lot of other people's questions up as well. Let's go to Nasihi Williams.
Hi, Paul. How you doing?
Doing well.
Okay. My question is, the bank. I have my 3 EINs in my private bank. I'm just confused on the routing number. I don't know what I should use for the routing number for my checking and my savings account. Should it be the Forest Granders Trust number for both?
Foreign grantor trust is savings, estate is checking.
Okay, so the routing number would be both. The Forest Granders Trust would be the routing number for the savings, and the routing number for the estate would be the routing number. I mean, the checking account number for the. Okay, and one more
Yes, you
question.
got it.
I heard you say
Mhm.
with the foreclosures, how can I acquire a house through my private bank with a foreclosure?
Read that box.
Mhm.
All of your questions will be answered if you go to the bills of credit little document and you just read inside that box and you just follow. And it's with anything. I don't care what you got. I don't care if it's a house, a car, a boat. Follow the order of that little paragraph box that Patrick put together, and you can purchase and acquire anything.
Okay, I'll do that. All right, thank
Yep.
you so much.
Yep. No problem. Let's go. Damsel in distress. In distress. Okay.
Oh, okay. I found the way to unmute. Good evening.
Good evening.
I have 3 court questions.
Three court
One,
questions. Choose one.
okay. If the court case has numerous, they created numerous derivatives of the initial case. So there's like 7 different case numbers for CPS taking my child. Do I have to do SF sets?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Because cover all your angles. It's a
What about the-
solicitation.
what about-
Just do all of them.
Okay. What about if they don't have
Get CPS is done in Bradstreet
if I don't
number.
know some derivatives?
Mm-hmm.
So
what's going on? 100. I love that power. Okay, what was that again? Damsel in distress. What was that last comment?
If there's other derivatives numbers that I am not aware of that they keep creating, how do I handle that?
Take the numbers you do have, because you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what you can't see. So only deal with what you see and what you know.
Okay, and then is it based off of my social that they're using or my birth certificate?
I don't know. Yeah,
For
that's
CPS
why
case?
you gotta also look at that box and being like, and try to read those court documents, and yeah, try to figure out what is the bill of not the bill of credit, because the bill of credit is the court or the ticket, but what is the disbursement officer that they're putting the charges against. If it's children, I want to say
Marriage?
it could be multiple. It could be a marriage certificate.
But I was
yeah.
never
Mhm.
married.
Oh. Yeah, then if there's no marriage, okay, so yeah, just do deductive reasoning. So then if you don't have a marriage certificate, then it's got to be an SSN or something like that. But again, I don't want to say something for sure. That's something that you got to look at and figure out who the disbursement officer is.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No problem. Let's go to student 0.
Greetings.
Greetings.
So my question, and I'm just kind of gathering all of this. I'm pretty new at this, but let's say I have state and IRS taxes due. What would be my first step to take care of that? And I have a car that the bank, I never signed the promissory note, okay, but the bank is trying to get payments from me. What do I need to do? What would be the processes using this.
Which marketable security, the performance of the payment bond, is used for bills and taxes?
I don't know.
Rewatch this video. Rewatch this video. Once,
when
you figure that out, you'll be able to take care of everything.
But will I have to have anything set up? What all do I need? Well, my banking, I went and got all 3 of those bankings. What else would I need to have to do?
Everything that we discussed in this video today.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the answer. And I don't want to, I'm not trying to like shove off your question to not answer you, but you really gotta listen to this recording a few times and let it sink in and know it like the back of your hand, which bonds to use for your bills and your taxes, and which one's the depository bond account. And it's got to flow off your tongue in all your transactions, because you have to defend this, because you will get pushback.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Hustling Grandma. Oh, super glad I got to finally get to you. How's it going?
Lord, yeah, I'm good. You see, I changed the picture.
Looking good. You hustling it up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look here.
Yeah.
One of the questions was already answered. I guess it was Patrick that asked about the forever stamp. So I'm trying to get my stuff together, and I had a question about that. But you answered that. But did you hit on Form 56 yet?
Oh no, I didn't hit on the Form 56s. I'm going to include that in class 2 or 3 for the Form 56s. Very straightforward though.
Well, because I'm not in foreclosure or anything like that, but I did see that Form 56 through Patrick and how to get everything switched over, so the IRS will know that you're in control now and things like that. So I want to make sure I didn't miss that, because I'm like, wait a minute. And then I'm about to go crazy because they took your videos down. I'm trying to download them, and
I know. Me too.
and then I missed your last live. I was so bad about that, and I almost missed this one because I could never get in. So
gosh, you.
Your email is flooded because I sent you all kind of messages, panicking.
All good. No need to panic. You have all the power available to you that you would need.
And is anyone in the group going to be helping with that that ID thing? I'm struggling with that. Struggling trying to get that together. I know you said you guys going to try to get a little group together to help with that.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything until I knew that, because I don't want to make a recommendation, because basically I have a vendor and I just onboarded them to Creditor Academy. And so I always check people's processes, how are they going to take the order? How are they going to process the order? What's the turnaround time and all that? So I want to make sure that I go over my vendor, how we do that before I start saying, hey, go full speed. I'm going to announce this live. But by next week, Tuesday, when we have our next class, everything should be in order. And then I'll tell you what email address to send an inquiry to get your orders fulfilled.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep working on it though. It's just pretty tedious trying to get it all together.
I know. I didn't even do mine. I said, hey, you're all professionals. You do it. Like I have no ability to do that.
And you said you're gonna touch on the 56 next week, then?
Yeah. I'll touch up on the 56 next. I haven't decided what order I'm gonna put it in, but I'll get to it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to be on here for 10 more minutes. I'm still going to go in order. Please put your questions in the comments, but let's go to Denise now.
Hi.
Hey.
Okay. I did my Banker's EIN online on my own, and I got a 99 number. That's the same number as an estate. I'm wondering if I did it correct.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that apply for these, so they got to have a numerical system that accommodates.
Okay. Question number 2. That 11111 Constitution Avenue, does that still apply for us to send our information, our whatever, to?
Yeah, I think that's the IRS Technical Support Division, or the TTNL.
Yeah, because when you call them, they have no idea no idea about nothing.
Well, you don't call them.
Well,
There's nothing to talk to them about.
I guess. Okay, one more thing. The HJR whatever 192.
HJR 192.
Yeah, that was repealed. There's conflict about that. May I make a suggestion that you use 48, 48 statute at large 112? That's my suggestion. It's the same thing, but in a statute. And that's all I have to say.
Yep, put it inside your.
Okay. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, put it in the chat. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for all your time.
Mm-hmm, no problem. Let me check this out. All right, let's go to Pauline.
Hi, Paul. So my trustee is able to reimburse me the full amount of my mortgage when she's discharging it, but I'd like to use your process to do it. I think I can do it with this process, but she's able to reimburse me the full amount of my mortgage and reimburse the last 3 years of my income. Is this a process that we could use to do that as well?
Yeah, you can do anything. There's quite a few processes, y'all. I mean, you can do bills of exchanges, you can do notary protests, you can do bankers accepted for value, you can do 1099s. There's a lot of processes to get remedy. This is just one that I just kind of explained just because people have always wondered what Patrick Devine's final process was.
I see.
Yeah.
But would you be able to explain how we could get our income reimbursed?
Yeah, the SF 1047.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem. Let's go to DB. DB. What's going on? You don't want to talk to me? Come on, buddy. I want to talk to you.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Hey, good job, man. I really appreciate the work you put in.
No problem.
I did my foreign grantors trust, and they sent me a notice back with my EIN, but it said that I had to file a 1041. With that, did I do that wrong?
No, you didn't do that wrong. That was outlined in Patrick's Devine's file. Let me kind of show you. EIN in a nutshell. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, no, you didn't. I understand why that happened. That's why I kind of want to draft it out real quick. Okay, so here you go. If y'all if you have access to all the files of Patrick Devine, if you don't, just go ahead and email us for the full Patrick Devine files. Everybody has access to 37 to 42, which is the final process, but I use so many documents throughout all the files because they're still relevant, including the 1099s. Those are great. But right here, 98 in a nutshell. This was Patrick's summation of it. Basically, it goes into two parts. One, at a recorded birth, you were given a birth trust and decreed in the Bible. This was very good, but they turned it into a dead man's estate to get you to need to become the executor, okay? The second is the account is the one where the money changers set up an SSN estate, which is her, with your help. This was very bad side, also a dead man's estate, And to take total control, you need a 38 EIN to become the executor. It could be classified as a dead man's trust, but in a condition where the money changers have easement access to the state of your property held within, therefore, estate. Okay, easement on your state. The process to come out of her, I'm just going to scroll down. Kind of. I thought it was in here. What was it? The 1041 you said?
Yeah, it said I needed to file a 1041.
Yeah. Okay. 1 second. And they say why? Oh, the reason why?
No.
No.
I got the same
No,
thing.
it just said I need to file it by 2025.
Oh, the 1041. Oh, I thought he would have. I felt like I saw invoice voucher.
1041 is for when you have a trust.
No, this is just going over the 1040s, huh? Okay. Hold on. I'm going to look up 1041 because that's interesting. I've heard that before. 1041V. What was it?
It was just, I think it was just a 10. Hold on, I'm about to look
That
at it.
1040V, that 1040V and the 1040V is a money voucher, and the 1041 is the money voucher for the trust.
Yes.
Yes.
There it is. Mhm.
Right.
To report yearly income for estates and trusts is the 1041.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So when you earn income tax return for your estate and trust, you use this form to report your yearly income for those estates and trusts. That's why they want you to fill it out.
So that's like when we get our private banker to get the money and we ship it over there to the savings account, we got to report that.
Yeah, you report at all transactions. That's why, well, I mean, they're being reported on your behalf. If you liquidate any of the bonds and you get a 1099-C, I mean, that organization is going to do that reporting anyway. So, yeah, this gets, you got, just like any bank or business or bank or trust that you're dealing with, you have to kind of do the ebb and flows of what's being deposited into your account and what's taking out of your account. And then there needs to be an accounting of all of those. That's why when you submit SF 1047, you're exchanging the monetary value of the credits that you're withdrawing from the account and replacing it with an accounting voucher. That accounting voucher goes into the vault. So then if the accounting officers, also known as the Secret Service, go in to do the accounting, they'll see, oh, the credits are accounted for because we have a voucher in the place of the credits that were withdrawn from. And this is all also overseen by the other accounting officers, which is the IRS.
Right. Okay, I got one more. Is this method, can I do this with child support?
You can do this with anything.
It's just do you know who I would report to?
That's why you got to go. You know that bills of credit document I showed?
Yeah.
I'm going to show it again. I swear, I'm going to shove this down y'all's throat. I am, because y'all, I'm telling you, you guys, it's going to blow your mind how simplified Patrick made it. Because I didn't simplify it. Patrick simplified it. But when you go into, oh my,
I don't mean to interrupt, Mr. Paul, but you just made something so clear.
Mm-hmm.
Light clicked on about the 10. You're right. It's in the 1099. It's the 1099s.
The 1099s. So it's everything.
Yeah.
That's
you gotta
it.
get your eggs in line.
All right, here it is. Okay, bills of credit. I want you all to just print this, and I want you to read just what's in this box. Read it 20 times. And then you'll see why I always go back to this on how I answer your questions. I always ask you guys the same questions. what's your bill of credit? Do you have a traffic ticket? You got a tax bill? You have a court charge? Do you have a utility bill? Do you have a mortgage payment that you got to make? What is the bill of credit? I'm trying to figure out what's the bill of credit. And then the next thing I'm trying to figure out is what's the commercial construction contract that that bill of credit is being issued from. Is it from the driver's license, your mortgage title, your certificate of title to the vehicle, the house, the property? Is it your marriage? Is it your birth, your social security number, etc.? And where that performance and payment bond is from. As soon as I figure out what the bill of credit is from you and what your commercial construction contract that it's attached to, then I only need to ask one more question. What state issued the credit? Was it a bank? Was it the clerk of a court? Was it the treasury? Who was it? Then I know who to talk to. It's all just in this one box. It's so clean.
Okay, so I go to the clerk of court since that who issues it.
There you go. And that's
Right.
how you take control again, because now you can take control of all your assets because you know the deductive reasoning you need to make with all your bills going forward. So now you don't need to ask Paul Michael anymore about how to fill out forms and all that. You're just like, oh, I know the order of which does that. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to Kenny.
Thank you.
What's up, Kenny? Kenny? Yeah, you killed Kenny. You bastard. Kenny, did they kill you? What happened?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Oh, Kenny.
Okay,
Yeah, much higher voice than I thought, or deeper voice.
Yeah. So, the quick question on the UCC. Is it supposed to be two debtors, and if so, why?
On your non-UCC, there's only one debtor, and that's your UCC Social Security.
Okay, I thought I saw one of the forms. He had the name for two debtors, so that was it. That was it.
Okay, cool, no problem. Let's go to Lovemore.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I had called the 267-941-1099 today, and the young lady asked me what state was I from. I think that's what she said, and I told her I wanted to get a EIN number for my bank, individual banker's EIN number. And
okay,
the number that I called was for international. So she says, well, where do you live? I said, well, I live in the States. So she says I have to do it domestically, get it on the domestic IRS line. So is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, you told them you're not foreign. You're in the United States. So yeah, they're gonna kick you over to do a trust online or in the States, and then you'll get the wrong trust, and then you'll wonder why it didn't work.
If I did the international one.
Oh, you got to do the international one.
But okay. She's asking me where do I live, and I live in.
This is I get what you're saying. I know what happened. I get what you're saying. You didn't present yourself clearly.
Okay.
And she responded to you with your earnest correctly, and she advised you correctly.
Okay. Now,
but you gotta sit down and you gotta first ask yourself, why am I getting a foreign grantor trust?
I was getting the individual banker EIN number, and then I was going to get the foreign trust because you only can get one a day. And then she says you can't get it over the phone. You have to fill the SS4 out.
Come to Tuesday's class. We'll go over that.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Joseph. How's it going, Joseph?
What's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going?
I've been
man?
about to damn. I've been about to blow mine trying to talk, but I'm being patient and cutting off. But I don't really got any questions to ask, man. But I've been I started off, studying Patrick Devine, and I got everything you say of that process and all, but I got deeper in the last maybe year now. So I know it's already we've been on the call for a long time now, but I was going to see if there could be a time when I could talk to you and see if it would be something that you would be interested in discussing, because you got a platform or whatever. And I didn't want to disrespect you, you're in class or whatever.
Yeah, no, totally. And what do you want to do? You want to volunteer, or you want to?
But no, I want to give some information to you about some of just about every question that I heard people asking. I got all the forms right here. I got everything from the Treasury to be the beneficiary with $3.8 million that I'm waiting on, that I should be getting in the next month for my 2023 taxes, or whatever. I got a lot of wins and a lot of stuff I could, receipts for everything, to back all
Here's
this
what I
stuff up.
recommend
But
you
it's
do.
just
Totally. I love that you have that, Joseph. Here's what I recommend that you do. I created a Google Drive for people like yourself. That's called what did I call it? In my Google Drive, when you send an email to creditoracademy@gmail.com, you'll get an auto response. Okay, in the auto response, it says, you'll see a Google Drive that says upload your Remedy videos.
Yeah, but it's so many.
That's what you should do. Create a video, spend 2 days in front of a camera and upload it on the drive, and I'll put it on.
That's why I wanted to say to you, because it's got a lot to do with Creditor, because you look at you at the top of that triangle, you be describing, if you look, it says I/OU. Because your you man is the straw man, whatever, that's your you, that's his name, YOU.
Absolutely.
And they create it so they control it. I got a lot of information, but I got about it, but I having to do these forms because that's what I was doing at first. But I got a more streamlined way, because you are a bank under GAAP. Use general accepted accounting principles for your bank, and you just you actually do your report. You keep your own books. It's accounting, and then for every deposit creates a credit. Everything in the debt was dead, and everything in the living was credit. You got to turn debt into credit. You can't pay debt with debt. You got to make credit pay the debt. You can't just debt with debt. You got to do credit.
Take all of that knowledge and all that experience and all that remedy and record yourself kind of explaining it, and dude, I'll post that up. I put that up, the remedy series for a Google Drive link for individuals like you who have gotten remedy, because people need hope. They need to hear that, these processes work, and that there's not just one process that works. There's many others. And you just tell your story. Take like 10. What is it?
Your process, what you're doing is right, and that's how I was doing things when I was following Patrick Devine. But I've went in deep on them, and now I'm so deep that they can't really say nothing to me, because they can't adjudicate nothing, because I'm the fiduciary and the beneficiary. And it goes along on what you're saying, but it was just more of a, answer people's questions.
Absolutely. No, brother, I love that. I absolutely love that. I mean, dude, you're on the right journey, the right track. And there are gems like you that did Patrick Devine's process like I did. And this is why we're bringing it to life, because the remedy, like I know the remedy, and we've gotten the experience from it. It's just that people didn't know how simple it was, and so that's why we're having these conversations, and that's why I built the remedy Google Drive, so that you could tell the whole world, dude, this is the right path. Not only that, but I also did this and this and this. Add whatever you want to your process, and I'll post it up. I'm anybody who wants to say I got one single remedy, I'll post up for all to see.
Oh, I got so much right here right now. I can show you so much right here, right now, with my birth certificate and all that. I got it so laid out.
I posted the link to the remedy folder.
10 minutes is out.
I posted the link to the remedy folder for you.
Awesome. All right. We'll kind of bring it down.
You see all this stuff?
I see it, Joseph. Yeah, I get you. I get creative video, man. Record it all.
Yeah, that's what
I'm not
saying,
gonna
all
look
that's
at it right
people,
now.
Oh, I know.
You know, it's
it's
for
too
another
much
time.
for
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah. But I want to see it, man. Just sit down, record yourself, go through every single document presentation, upload it. I'll look at it. Not only will I look at it, but hundreds or thousands of people will look at it as well.
I got you. But I can show you the bonds also. I can show you your bonds with your numbers. I can show you what they're worth, but you got a partnership. That's why it's 2 dashes in the social security number. That's a partnership.
Yeah.
You got to make it an EIN with 1 dash. So that's what I can show you the bonds, but whatever numbers you got, I can show you what they're worth. And who manages them at Fidelity and everything.
Record yourself, post it all up
in
I'm
5
telling you,
minutes.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Well, I appreciate everybody that showed up today. I gotta end the call now because I gotta get dinner and stuff like that. But thank you all for showing up today. This was a long. Yeah, Bill. This was super great to be able to see everybody and get the love and support. Once again, we have restarted our series from course 1 all over again, and I'm so happy that you're able to attend. If you cannot, if this video gets taken down from YouTube, you can go ahead and get it from our Google Drive folder, or you can go on Rumble on our newest account that we created over there, so you never miss out on this informative meetings ever again. Again, just keep out for the latest news updates on when we get our website up and operating and so much more stuff. But then thank you all once again. I really do appreciate your emails. I do try to read every single one of them and try to reply to them as best as I can. But until next time, until next Tuesday, have a great rest of your weekend and God bless.
Is your Rumble name under your name, Paul?
Good night.
Creditor Academy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Hey,
Thank
no
you.
problem.
God bless everyone. Thanks all.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Is there anyone on here that has a study group started?
Good night, y'all.
That's what we need right there, a study group.
Or is there anyone on here from North Carolina?
Good night, John Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody here from Minnesota?
Yeah, I need a California.
And I'm in Illinois.
Wow.
Woo, we done been around the world and
around the world already. Honolulu and everything.
Lord have mercy.
I think we
Everybody rules is different.
Anybody
Is
needs
there
that
anybody
paper,
from
I can
Hawaii?
do that paper.
Is there anybody
Proof
from
of
Hawaii?
identity.
That's what I
Proof
need.
of identity.
I need that help.
Yeah, I can do it.
I can't wait to get this this banker EIN. I'm waiting on mine to come in the mail or the email, and I have been following Mr. Devine. It's crazy because I told the bank, I set up a trust account. I told the bank I wanted to do a there's a video about a coupon endorsement. And I told them I wanted to do a coupon endorsement, and I had already lightweight underwritten the endorsement. And the man was with it. He was like, bring it in, what you looking for? I said, I know the lifetime value. Well, supposed lifetime value is damn near unlimited, but I wouldn't want to take anything under 5 million. So he was like, okay, give me a little bit of time and I'm gonna get back with you with this, but there's no reason why, the bank can't pull it down for you as a special deposit. No tax.
Word.
Wow.
Wow. So who was you talking to at the bank? Like, who was you communicating with?
Okay, so I bank with this particular bank. I got 2 separate trust accounts. One is naturally the great good old B of A. I try not to really fool with them, man. They whole little setup is just, it ain't right when you're trying to get things done today. They have waiting rules, you feel me? You're gonna need that medallion stamp on your TDA paperwork, and you want to have that attached to your trust. So I went to PNC. PNC knows what's going on here. That's the best way I could put it, man. They know exactly what I was trying to do.
Yeah, I went to PNC too and got my medallion stamp.
Hey, listen here, man. PNC with shit, man. Excuse my French. PNC knows exactly what's going on, and right now I got lucky. They had a guy in there, and he was the dude that basically trades. He's the man that gives you the medallion stamps, and he trades the anything on secondary markets. The man was off to the side in the bank in his own little thing. So I got to go over there and talk to him, and it was basically like going in Bank of America and having the Merrill over there to the side. You go talk to Merrill.
Yeah.
Same ordeal. He's not Merrill, he's not Fidelity. He's just a middleman. He's the broker. So you can run anything through this dude. This dude was, hey man, there was no no's in his vocabulary.
Wow.
And the banking lingo is what let him know I knew what was going on. So my thing in the class is, that's why I kept asking this man, Mr. Paul, what is the difference between the private registered bond and the bonds that we're talking about? And I still didn't quite get it. Even though he read it on Google, the light didn't click on for me like maybe everybody else, because I have a bond that's going to attach to the back end of that trust account, $100 million indemnity bond. Now, the thing about the bond that I felt or thought was what really caught me is it's a private bond, but what it states is, like any other bond, bills, taxes, things that you owe debt, but it had a key word in it, equity. Now, in my life, what I know as equity is commercial and residential property.
Right.
So if you can use it for equity, what are they suggesting? That you can go and buy the home?
Come on, man.
Well, I'm just, hey, now see, this is my thing. Look, like he said, you'd hate to make a move and you couldn't explain it, right?
That's right.
I just because we talking about it, I'm telling you now, I'm too for sure to use it. Even if you told me I could go do that, if I didn't know A, B, and C.
Hey, ask questions. Like if he says, "Oh, why do you think you can bring this in?" Are you saying that I can't? Why do you think that this has value? Are you saying that it doesn't have value? Go back.
Well, let me ask you a question.
No, but
if it's attached on this is my thing. I got a phone call, and the phone call was to let me know that they saw the TDA account attached on the back end. I didn't attach it on the front. They did it, or the broker done it on the back. So when the bond is attached on the back, I would assume you give me the same phone call and say there's a bond on the back. Now it's up to me to know what I'm supposed to say to this man about this bond, and I'm up in the air. I have bond questions. So it's like, what do you do? What do you say to the man? He expects to hear something from you as the private banker. As the private banker, you got your EIN, you rocking, you can do pull downs. How do you not know how to use this registered bond? Right. So if it's a bond that can be, what do you do with it? What do you say to the man? I want to use this. I mean, naturally, you can say, okay, I want to set up now a contract account through the bank. Now, what is that contract account? Every contract you have, instead of you doing it by yourself, like what we're discussing here, you go up to the man at the bank and take your credit card bill. You go up to the man at the bank and take your electricity bill and run it through your contract account at the bank. Something we've heard of, but nobody knows how to do it. All of that is attached to this. You're just using the bank as the middleman. So, okay.
If you read
I heard somebody ask about the 56.
Can I
did.
Answer your
I did.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
did, because I've been seeing that 56, and I said, wait a minute, I have not heard him say anything about that 56. And they said it's important to do that, especially when you got a mortgage as well.
Okay, well, look, the 56 is you as a fiduciary. The 56F is you appointing the fiduciary.
Correct.
All right. Now, when you're putting in this 56, you're basically anything you want to do. So, like, let's say you got the court case and it's too far along. You feel like, all right, man, I'm gonna have to go in the court. All right, go down to the county clerk and 56 the judge and make the judge trustee over the court case.
Okay. Well, I don't have no issues like that. This is mainly my mortgage. I'm not in foreclosure or anything, but they were saying when you send in your packet, like I need to send in my packet to U.S. Bank, They said make sure I have that 56 in there, so they'll know as well that they're not over my stuff anymore.
Now, he didn't touch on that voucher, but my understanding to that 1040 and that 1041, if you don't have a trust and you was just busting it with your social security number, you would take a 56, send whoever that is that you're dealing with that 56, and you would send them that voucher and leave a voucher. Well, see, I would, for me personally, I wouldn't leave a voucher open. I put whatever I own on that home on that voucher. Yeah. And they're gonna cash that voucher off your number and send you your title.
That's another thing I was wondering, like, how do I get my title and can I get my money back that I paid into the house?
Yes, you can, and he will. So I don't mean to cut y'all off, but I've already been through all 4 of his classes, and I think that a lot of people want the remedy in the first class, and he can't go over every single thing in the first class, but he is going to touch on the vouchers. He is going to tell you how to get all your refunds back, everything you've paid into you, even if your car is paid off of your
I think that was
paid off.
Hey, now check this out, y'all. I got a cold one, and I don't know.
Back. Like, he does go over all of that.
That's true.
Yeah, so what?
That's me. I'm sorry about that. Let that man finish.
That's more too. He go over that 56.
Yeah, so he does touch on because you have to understand that a lot of people.
Who was that said that they can do the ID? Because that's where I'm having a problem. I don't know how to do this. I pull up these little seals and stuff, and I'm like, okay, so how do I do the rest of this? So
it's a lot. I got a
it's
software.
A lot.
It's DB. I got a
software. So I just separated. Go ahead. What's your software?
I'm using my Silhouette software, but I got the business edition, so I can remove.
Say that one more time. Say that one more time. What's the name of it?
It's a Silhouette. A Silhouette Studio.
Okay.
Studio software. Okay.
But you got to have the business edition
and you can
in
also
order to
look
do
up
it.
Badge makers.
Oh, okay. So are you
the badge maker? Only thing you got to do is look up badge maker, put in the input that you want on the badge, and just take the picture of the badge.
Oh, okay.
And then you can order your badge if you want to, but you already have a picture of it.
Is anybody nervous and paranoid of that?
Fuck yeah.
No, I'm not.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to know if I was the only one, man. I totally bypassed that bounty hunter. I was thinking to myself, that's not for us.
You guys need to look up. It's either a USC or it's a CFR. We have the right to make anything that the pretender government makes. So you can make your own certificates, you can make your own licenses, all that stuff. It's a CFR or USC, and I cannot remember what it is. But anything we make, we have the right to make it for ourselves as well.
It's not that. It's just they don't play fair. So, I tend to wonder if you go outside and you got your badge on and you decide to put that thing on your hip and you get approached and the man approaches you initially like maybe you're armed security. And then when you go say, okay, well, let me show you my identification, and he sees this identification that we're discussing, and he makes a play in his mind that this ain't valid enough for the state that you're in. What do you do?
Yo,
you got to know your law.
That's
not
what that idea is for.
And then 9 times out of 10, you probably have to go down like your man's did, and then somebody gonna be like, hold on, hey,
excuse me, you guys.
Get him up out of there. He don't even supposed to be in there.
Excuse me.
May I be excused, guys? Okay, so
that idea ain't for everyone. That idea.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. I just need to say something real quick. The call, although he left, is still being recorded. Maybe, and we did this on the last class, maybe that's why the videos get taken down, because when we're here and we didn't realize that this portion will still be on the YouTube video.
Oh yeah, and it's almost
maybe
4
that's
hours
why
long.
yeah,
Okay.
maybe that's why it got taken down because here we speak very freely, but this section is also being recorded and would be posted. So just so you guys, it's a heads up, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
everybody-
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Did
Before I
everybody
go,
get the
that was a
About
bad
them
example.
badges, that's not
You
for
don't mix
everybody.
the public with the private. So you went with your badge in the
No.
public.
No.
That badge ain't for
Hey Todd.
everybody. Know that.
Hey Todd, what's your email address if you don't mind?
Absolutely. Tully, Tully 540 at Gmail. Man, we need to do a group call real quick. As a matter of fact, take my number, man, and just call me if everybody want to exchange numbers real quick so we can get off the live.
Do you want to put it into the chat or you want to do it?
Nah, we can't do it. We gotta, yeah, because that's gonna be all over the America.
He says it's gonna be all over the world. Yeah, well, just everybody got email. Just email me. I ain't worried about the email, man. You got a few of them.
Okay, you said it's ULLY540@gmail.com.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and just email me, and then I just send my number to everybody, and we'll three-way each other.
Hold on 1 second.
I've been trying to figure out the WhatsApp thing. You know, nobody's gotten back with me on that. I haven't even got a link for that.
Hold on.
What you missing?
What's your email, good brother?
TU
Larry
LL
Larry
Yard Y.
Yard Y.
Yep. TULLY 540 at Gmail.
540 at Gmail.
Gotcha.
Okay. Larry Yard 540 at gmail.com. Gotcha.
Yep. Tully. TULLY.
TULLY 540.
Yes. T as in Tom.
Uh-huh.
All right. Let's go ahead and lock that up. Y'all hit me, man. Well, and I'll call everybody back right now.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. Right.
Fucking little girl, man.